A quick glance through here, a couple of names that a lot of people should recognize. Naturally, probably the ones that are going to call the most attention are going to be the booty clappers down there. That's going to be Duck and I Am Chappie. Chappie is one of the old Cloud9 players coming through. He has a pretty big following coming through there.
Come on.
Gangstar is also a known organization. They're bringing out a duo into this, and that's going to be Teflon and Smeagol. Meanwhile, Hooligans also bringing out Shrimpsy and Allergen coming through. Conflict Esports. There's just so many people inside of this. We even have Team Envious making an appearance inside of this with Venerated and Caden. They did a phenomenal job with the PGI North American qualifiers playing for it. We got NRG that's inside of this, Nova Esports. I mean, it just keeps on going. It's just so many organizations. You can see all these guys are like, no, we want you to come start watching our streams, because that's what this is about. If you see somebody that's playing and just tearing it apart, they're just doing so good, go check out their stream, because remember, everybody is going to be streaming an event, and that's what this is kind of about, trying to find new people for you guys to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, because you can catch some of the action here, but you can also catch their perspective on their own streams right here on the Twitch platform, twitch.tv/whatever the team name player is. Go there, check it out, and then clip it.
Yes.
Make sure to clip it and tweet it out.
And give it to us, because we want to make sure that, like, there could be certain things that we missed on different camera perspectives. That's part of the thing about PUBG. There's so much action at one stage. If you guys happen to see something, make sure you clip it, use that hashtag, send it our way, so that way we can make sure to show the rest of the world.
Absolutely. It could actually make its debut here on the broadcast. So don't stop. Send us all the goods.
All right, so we are in map. Nothing too terrible about this plane path. Again, map's pretty small. Everybody should be able to just kind of jump wherever they want to go. Question is, all these guys are coming in from the qualifiers. You know, they're warmed up. They're ready to go. Now, how are we going to see everybody separate out? Who gets what locations? How close did they drop? These first rounds are always so influential. People kind of coming down and like throwing down their flag and saying, this place is mine, you can't have it, and kind of defending that territory on future drops, because we will be hitting this map 3 more times throughout the day.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the foundation of Sanhok. Almost. There's so many places to go. You will most likely get, for the most part, geared up as best as you can get. There's really no bad drop.
There's just everywhere in this map. That's one of the things I like it. You never feel like you're out of something. As long as you keep your eyes going, you're looking around, there's always something to be found.
Yeah, and meds are probably the only thing, and that's pretty standard through all the maps. But because of the close quarter combat,
this is an interesting duo here. Solid FPS and Smack. So we got some play coming in on this. I know some of the TSM people are going to be excited to see Smack's name make an appearance inside of it. Also, if there are some streamers that you're like, hey, how come they're not inside of this event? Remember, there are also the wildcard invites. So just because you see them, just because you don't see them right now, doesn't mean that they're not playing. They could show up inside of week 2, or they could be part of the wildcards. So just stay tuned in as we keep seeing who evolves each round and makes it their way towards that final.
Yeah, absolutely. These aren't the only open qualifiers. We have one more weekend, or one more day. We have one more weekend of qualifiers, one more for Invitational, one more for Open. So don't you worry if you don't see your favorite broadcaster today. You just might get to see them next time.
So with this, it's also a chance for a lot of streamers like not necessarily know to kind of step up, make sure that they like make a name for themselves inside of this. But part of that is going to be, we're going to have to figure out some of the names. We do have Noble off in the background. That's going to be Boom. It's getting kind of scoped out right now by Vault, I believe is how you say that. He's got the AK. Meanwhile, Sand did manage to find Prophet Daddy getting taken down. Meanwhile, Vault does see Boom.
No,
that's going to be bad.
Boom went down so fast, so early.
He's just hiding out in that little sneaky spot right there, hiding out inside the shrubberies. So that's going to put everything onto a Daculus. Now he's going to have to carry out for the rest of the guys from Noble. So,
and he can do that. He can definitely carry it.
We have an interesting mix of streamers, semi-pros, and pros inside of this round.
They're all broadcasters, but they're all different, varying levels of talent
competitive
for PUBG.
Scene and the talent. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this mixes up. We're going to get a little bit of the pro style come into play with a little bit more of the matchmaking style. See a little bit of aggression coming in the early map. Not to mention, I know everybody's like, oh, pros competing in this, blah, 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 blah. That's not necessarily fair. We're spending a lot of time on a map. Pros haven't had a chance to play a whole bunch. It's not like everybody's specifically mapped out the best ways to play this map as of yet. So there's still a lot of variance and meta that can come into it. But Sun's taking a lot of damage right now. He's trying to make a push on the outside. Looks for the wall. Thinks that he saw Sun over there, but going to just opt into retreating out. He does not have any meds at the direct time. So he's got the life that he's got to live with, and he's not going to live anymore.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Back to what you were saying about there's casuals, semi-pro, pro players in here. You'd be surprised. As a pro, you go in and you know what to expect when you're going head to head with other pros. But the casuals are bringing in, forgive me if I use that in the term of non-competitive parties. So I'm not using that in a negative context whatsoever. It's literally just they're not already in that mindset of the strategy involved on the pro scene. And so they are bringing the different meta. Like, they'll do something you do not expect them to do, and that could be the play to wipe out a squad.
We've already seen some conflicts come into meta-style play throughout this event so far, and it's kind of interesting to see how it plays out because while the pro strategies do tend to work whenever everybody's working in that kind of mindset, sometimes what's the old saying is the fact that the greatest swordsman in the world is not afraid of another master swordsman, he's afraid of the farmer with a sword because you don't know what to expect.
You cannot predict what
so
they're
when
going to
you're bringing
do.
in this crazy new meta styles of play, it's just things that you don't expect to be there can suddenly be influential, and that team can get wins off of it. So it's really cool to see how everything's playing out inside of this. So we're over here with Cherry Poppins rocking his Vector, got caught up into a little bit of a fight here. Awesome name, by the way, Cherry Poppins. A lot of meme going on with it. So we've got a Daclus that does manage to get a revenge kill from earlier. So now it's all about Cherry Poppins and JP Cloud just kind of holding this angle very slowly. But GSOT, I guess is how we say it. GSOT. GSOT.
GSOT.
GSOT.
GSOT.
Caught up in a little bit of a fight with the Daclus, and the Daclus is like, no, you don't get to throw that grenade.
You just die. Right. You were going up against the Daclus. You just can't do that. You got to run.
So now we're in a little bit of a standoff. And we talked about this in earlier rounds in EU. When you get caught in these standoffs, you don't have time to really loot because you're kind of afraid of what's happening with it. So you lose a lot of the resources that might be necessary to really be needed in the mid game and late game. You can see that meds, not necessarily something JP Cloud is sitting on at the direct time. His teammate Cherry Poppins only has like 2 stims. He has painkillers, well, 2 painkillers and 2 energy drinks. That's not what you want going into the mid game whenever people can be sniping you from all the way across the map.
They're adamant about holding this corner right here.
They're committed. They're like,
They're
no,
super committed.
This person's gonna die.
You will not. You pick me and you're done with my Vector.
And now it's kind of a play out. So again, a little bit of meta coming in through here, so we can see that multiple SMGs coming to play close range combat. I guess he's playing this. He's got that awesome hat on, and he's just holding the angle and forcing them to decide.
We can see the outline of his hat through there. I just want to do the whole.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. It's an old Western standoff. He's trying to hold, going for position. They did see him on the jump there, I believe. So now going for the door, opening it from the lower. He's just out in a, I think he went around the back side of the building. So he's just positioned up, throwing over the smokes. This is an interesting play to make off of this.
Decoy?
Maybe try to get them to think that they're going out that direction. No, they are using it for cover. They're wanting to disengage from it, realize maybe we've been sitting here just a touch too long. But now going back for a recommitment.
This is definitely a long standoff for sure. Someone needs to decide if they're going to do it or don't. Because it's so easy to third party on this map.
Yeah, and it's
Get third party.
The longer you stay in one of these long protracted fights, the riskier it becomes. And I think at this point they're just going to use the walls, step out and away. Meanwhile, Solid FDS caught up into a fight, and it's going to be his teammate Smack that manages to save him, finishing out that kill there. Solid doesn't really have a whole bunch of meds yet either. I think it's almost kind of the name of the game right now. Smack does get line of sight back over there and takes down Lamp-A-Lot.
That was great. I literally thought he ran out of ammo before he was able to get that kill.
We're back over here with our very long fight as Vault's trying to run away, near on no life. Just one bullet. He could stub his toe as he's running and essentially fall down dead. Cherry Poppins did have a little bit of a beat on him, but they're still going to try to disengage away from this, and it looks like Vault's kind of caught up. He's kind of caught on the river right now, so forced into like a little hidey hole, but I think that they might let him go on it. Yeah, they're just retreating out.
I giggle every time I see somebody die by falling in the kill feed, and that just happened. 70 still left alive. This is typical of NA for sure.
A lot of confidence. People want to go for the plays inside of this. They want to get the kills. They want to get something. They want to get something to show. Now Cavalt's in a little bit of trouble as he's having to swim through. Caden, already living the bush life, lost his teammate Venerated. Got line of sight on some people that he plays against on a regular basis, and that's going to be Pat Camps and E United's Taylor J.
That's easy to do too on these bushes because the grass is so high too, so the legs hanging out. Unless you're moving, you're not going to be able to spot those.
I gotta say, JP Cloud is committed to this. He's like, I want these 4 points. I'm going to get these 4 points. I don't care how long it takes.
Mark my words, JP is going to be in the kill feed sooner than later. He got it. But was that 4 points worth? I mean, I guess we don't see anybody coming. I mean, I'm surprised right now.
We'll have to see how it holds out. We're over here now with William and his teammate A300. I'm gonna break that down. A300 600 ST. Almost sounds like an address.
Google it. Can somebody Google horizontal, vertical, whatever it. Coordinates.
Coordinates, there we go. So this one coming over here now with Taylor J and Pat Caps as they're making their approach. Actually, we still saw them run by Caden just a second ago, hiding outside of a bush. So he's down to 66 people alive. Still got plenty of teams, 36 active teams at the direct time. More often than not, you can see most of the teams are already fairly centered up inside of the map. We do have Gold Steel way out inside the blue. I think, no, actually, that's a death marker up there.
That's
so,
the person that fell earlier. Now we know where they died. Maybe they were AFK.
Jumping off a cliff.
Yikes.
Getting away from deny the 4 points. Jump off the cliff.
You can't have my 4 points.
So we got Patron over here doing a nice push for his Twitch channel inside of his name. A little bit of a peek around. He's got his teammate that's on a high ground position. This is kind of one of the interesting ways that he plays around this map. Nice grenade comes out, and that's going to get Rudy Boss to go down. So now it's all onto Maverick, trying to hold this angle as two different people approach, but they are stacked on top of each other. Gorgine and Patron don't have necessarily separated angles. Now switching over the nades. Can they out and connect? Maverick takes a little bit of damage. He's going to retreat back, but it's not going to be enough. That's going to be a duo going down and drops us down to 35.
Those nades are great to be able to, even if you don't get that immediate kill, it helps at least lessen the health bar significantly.
Sorry, I laugh at Pippin Prime. He's runs out there. He's like, no. Too many bullets. Don't like that. I'm just going to continue to hang out back behind these little, I guess.
He reminded himself. 300K, 300K, 300K.
Yeah, step out there a little bit. Look around. Teflon under a lot of fire right now with his teammate Smeagol. Looks like they caught up with Company Man and Blissey up on the other side of the hill. Shots now ringing back that direction. Teflon's going to be able to get up his health. Mike, the unit rookie.
A lot of people dying outside the zone, off cliffs. Chat, what's going on? Fill us in.
Just, they're just done. They're like, nope. We're just a little too risky. Maybe they're just going out and they're looking around. They're like, we were talking about this would be a great place to vacation. Maybe they're just out doing some cliff climbing. But got Aguila with a nice spin back around, gets Duck and I Am Chappie both. I know it's going to be some fan favorites. Chat's not going to like that one.
Yikes, that's right. And he's able to get his teammate from across the street.
Long Schlong just hanging out there waiting for it. Gets it down onto one, closes the door again like, nope, we got our kills. Now going to try play back, get a little bit of recovery going on. Is the solo player going to make a play off of this? Is it going to be Blood? He's making an approach on the back side of this building.
Yeah, mistakes were made. He just walked right on in that, just opened it up, just had no cares in the world. You got to walk around at least kind of get a feel if you hear anybody.
Is this nade going to connect? That was pretty well thrown. Might connect. Doesn't look like it gets too much damage on it, but is going to force them to separate out. Peaks now coming into play. Shots coming on. Blood's taking the bad end of that trade-off.
Heal. Got to take a first aid.
It's a little too. He can tell it. He feels it's a little risky. He wants to get a little bit more knowledge, but third party we were talking about. That's the risk. Whenever you start getting loud, don't have full awareness of what's going on around you. So Unknown Gaming, Long Schlong, still alive, hiding out inside of here.
Sorry.
Chilling out. Yeah, it's a fun name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's Schloong, actually, if you really want to go for phonetics.
Schloong?
Schloong. There's extra O's.
Schloong. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll go into that way.
Yeah. That's what it means.
So with this, let's see. We got Nex, who managed to steal that kill just a second ago. Well, I wouldn't say steal the kill, but managed to just a third party sneak in. Now he's kind of caught up, looking back over that same direction. Gets another down onto Yard Schloong?
Schloong. That's how we're going to pronounce it. You want to put an extra O in there, we're going to... That's how it's getting pronounced.
So now a slow creep up. We've got Carnage back behind him, approaching on the same angle. I killed Homer. I didn't see Homer in here, so I guess we're just going to assume that he killed Homer and accept it.
Accepted.
Next going for another nade. Takes a little bit of damage on the peak. I don't know if it went through the window or not. So now it looks like they realize it's a little bit risky. Carnage doing a push off to the left side of it. So now they're holding two different window angles. We've seen this is the way you want to make a safer approach, but the problem with it is it puts all pressure. Neither one of these players can get knocked down in the duo, because if they do, it almost makes it all the pressure shift over to the other side, and there's no way to get the res off. You force your partner into a 2v1. So it's a smart play if you get the connecting shots. But on the other side of that, we've got Eminem for the win over here, taking some shots over at Lochnar, and the guys from Nova. And that's a
tossing him a smoke.
Here you go, give us some cover. There you go. There you go. Making the switch over to the regular nades now. Carnage in a lot of trouble. You can see he's retreating back, trying to hit that spray. Remember, his teammate is off on that side flank. Unknown Gaming does go down, though, so they still are in the 2v1. Now popping over here with Fergus, who's hearing what's happening. Walking right up over here next to Richie, trying to line up some shots onto him. A lot of damage coming out, and Fergus is going to secure that. Courage now getting knocked. This is going to push this into a 1v1. Next versus Yard-Long Schlong, taking the shots onto it. Out in the open, just relying on his aim, but just can't quite connect the last shot. So Next got to run back over and try to get the res onto his teammate.
And with Elijah, QTV holding this line on 2 guys. He obviously knows somebody's inside this little hut. But these guys, look at them. They're just like on the opposite sides, just waiting it out. They're like, we don't need to move.
Those little huts are almost like shacks. If you look at them from like Miramar and Rangel, they're just like, you just kind of post up inside of them, and you know whenever you're in there, you're kind of trapped, but you're kind of safe as long as nobody runs up on you and drops a grenade on you.
It's better than nothing. It's better than being out in the outside, but you are 1 grenade away from meeting your maker.
This is true. And so it's all about, you also have to find those little hidden cubbies inside there, you know, like trying to stack back behind like some type of place, like, you know, like you've got those dressers and all that
or
other
get on
stuff.
top of a mannequin, as we saw.
Yeah, we saw hiding on top of a mannequin. Pretty effective.
Apparently you can mount a mannequin, guys.
Phrasing?
Yeah. I called it the mannequin mount.
So with this, we're back over here with Imminent for the win. Got up in a fight with Jake Chu. While stands off in the distance, Ferg's back up on this as well. Multiple duos all connecting around this same point. Caden's still alive. You can see him right on the edge of the blue off to the right of the screen. Coming in for the win, realize it's a little hot. We're still in the early stages of the circle, so it doesn't tick too terribly hard. You can see a lot of people still stemmed up, so not the worst, but you don't necessarily want to burn all those meds at this point. You can see that just on Ferg's, he only has 4 more stems at this point, so you don't necessarily want to burn through all of them at this stage just to survive and get a flank round. But with this, he's going to get a little bit safer of a path in.
I'm happy to see the circle move away from boot camp. We saw boot camp inside the circle for a little bit in other matches, and it gave people too many opportunities to just hang out in there. Oh, he just watched that body just drop. He said, oh, okay, you're good.
Surrendered 4 points to the blue.
Oh, yikes.
You think that you'd just go ahead and take it, but now...
Well, he was weighing his option. Do I go loud, give away my position because maybe they're trying to creep in that next spot in the circle, or get the 4 points? They had to weigh their option. I guess they chose life.
And we're over here with JP Cloud. Looks like they did manage to get some loot off of some kills here, so feeling a lot better after that prolonged skirmish. We saw them caught up in early game, where they were stuck with Cavault for, I want to say, about 2 minutes there.
Yeah, they're still alive. So I was wrong. I was severely wrong.
Looks like they're trying to pick up some ammo, maybe?
Yeah, I
there
hope
we
so.
go. Meanwhile, Dakla still alive, netting himself some free points, getting Patron there. But you can see instantaneously everybody turns around and is like, no, no, you don't do that. Adaculus, though, still alive, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't see his name pop up in the kill feed. He does a good job of, he can get out of those sticky situations pretty easily.
It's one thing about the pro players. They know how to survive. That is the meta of the game, is just to survive for as long as possible, be that last player standing. And I gotta say, pro players are optimized in that. So he did a good job, was aware of what was happening to him, running back. A few pants inside the circle, but Jury was running in there a little bit late, getting a little low on the life, you know, just making his approach now. So playing around the quarry area, not inside the safe zone, so I doubt anybody's going to venture down into that path. Although,
we have a team.
Pippin Prime that's down there. Meanwhile, Adaculus still by himself, caught up in this fight, taking a couple of shots over towards Jury, and so looking off. Is that a duo? No, that's a dead duo that's back behind him. So now he knows that he's close to the circle. He's only got about 100 meters to go, but there are so many duos in between here and there. And Caden finally gets spotted out. Bush Life's not going to pay off. Well, I guess I should say Fern Life finally going to get taken out by Cherry Poppins.
You know what his problem was there? He wasn't wearing the spot A skin, you know?
He should have been more comfy and relaxed, just kind of
chilling out.
Should have gone
Twitch Prime, bro.
I know. So at this point, if you guys have not yet done it, be sure to link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account. You get all kinds of free fun stuff. And right now, you get a free just ton of cosmetics that come inside of the Spa Day crate. You get like a little towel on your head, get a comfy like little robe, get some fluffy slippers, you know.
Just short towel around your waist. Not long, just short. Just enough to cover the booty.
Very, very short, we shall say. Enough to where it's slightly awkward for some of like the male model characters, to say the least. You're like, be careful how you lean over and whenever you're having to do any crouching.
Hey, you know, let's get in the locker room. What happens in the locker room stays in the locker room, Matrim.
All right, now we're over here with Stealthy Mosquito. Right outside the blue, trying to take a couple of shots back over this duo that's kind of gatekeeping them out. All these duos are caught inside the blue. Nice spray coming off from there. Stealthy Mosquito stepping up, coming alive. Meanwhile, we've got Pippin Prime holding down the bottom area of the quarry.
Interesting.
So I love the ragdoll just slowly rolling down the hill.
Blomp, blomp.
Stealthy Mosquito. He has so many duos along this path. You can see everybody's getting caught in these little skirmishes and doing work for him. He did see these bodies drop, but I don't think that he was aware that it was going for like how the push is coming out around him. He does have three different duos down in this hillside as he makes his way. We still have a approaching circle. You can see on the distance, we've got Shimsy making his approach, aiming in for the win. They're going to be running right into Smack and Solid FPS in a second. Meanwhile, Cherry Poppins doing outside flank. A lot of teams right on the edge of the circle on the eastern side. There's probably, what, maybe 6, 7 different duos. They're all going to encroach in the same area. Looks like Solid was coming back for a kite right as soon as Eminem for the win made their approach. So he's now making the switch over. Doing a little bit of bandage. Smack's holding this inside. The door does get opened up. I love that. Open the door, realized, hey, there might be somebody in there. So Ferg steps back out and away. Solid's got the outside point. Now flank is, I have Smack that's trying to hold down the inside of this. Close everything back down. Make sure it's, get a little bit more protection inside of here. Solid's trying to regroup back with him now. Let's see that Ferg's going to do the speak round. Who sees who first? Who gets the spray? Solid gets a lot of damage onto Ferg. So now it makes this a 1v2. They do have the circle that's starting to push on them now, and they know that they have to start moving. Don't want to take too much damage. It's starting to tick now.
It's going to really hurt. And
Eminem for the win.
Eminem for the win. Just hanging out over there. He's playing a little too safe.
That shot could be so big because now Smack has to run so far. He's going to get knocked down from the blue. He's going to die to the play zone. Solid FPS went down as well, so that's going to be that duo going out. Now we're over with Oakley, and a nice nade coming in as we see finishing off, I guess, his partner and neighbor over there. Dropping us down to 18 people up and alive. 9 teams active at the direct time. We see Chlor holding down a nice high ground vantage point where you can kind of see how everybody's repositioning, but he is not inside the safe zone as of yet and has to cross through a valley to get there.
Well, crazy enough, Quarry, you know, I always say stay out of Quarry. Don't go in there. However, there's a team made their way through, and just a smidge of that line, the fence line, is still in the circle. So they could, if they really wanted to play it safe, just keep filing in slowly until they can get right on that edge and take that cover.
We've got in-game over here that's doing a slow approach. Looks like they did manage to get control over the eastern part of the circle, so they have a path that they can make their way down through. Meanwhile, got Alzin on the far side with Zintrix caught up into a fight with Chlor and take them down. Smeagol just kind of coming out on top of some other kills, starting to go through the kill feed very quickly as Elijah's going to have to start making his way inside the safe zone. Everybody's just trying to find their own little rock to hide behind, but Teflon says, nope, you can't hide over in that location. Now they're going to come out hard push here. Teflon's back behind him. Zintrix looks like he's going around the outside of the hill, just going to leave his teammate behind, realize it's a little bit too hot for him, knows that this is where the aggressive push is going to come from. Got Drunk over here, caught up in a fight with Ribs. Ribs with a nice spray to get the headshot on it, but now having to fight his way out of the quarry. This is going to be a hard push up this hillside.
It only looks like there's Elijah, the last man standing on the opposing team. He's the only one aware of their position. So as long as they don't grab the attention of anyone else, which I'm sure everyone else is already occupied in their own position, right? They're not even caring.
Look at how loud it is right now with 9 people alive. Everybody's just forced into fighting at this point, trying to run up onto this wall. Pip and Prime with some nice shots over onto Elijah to finish that off. Well, we've got Zintrix still alive. New circle has populated. Looks like it's going to keep going further down towards the south. So guys in game, they're pretty close to the circle at the direct time. They just have to make their way about 50 meters down, holding into the building. Yeah. So now we do have a huge road that's going right through the middle of this and a couple of buildings. We have one team that's on the eastern side that's going to have to run across a no man's land. That flat road is just so vicious to run across. So you can see that Zenith's going to have to make that push. Meanwhile, in game, they are inside this building. Zintrix is way on the outside over there. I think that's Esper. Ribs that's going to be over in that one location playing along the wall. So they do have that outer wall that they can kind of push around. But Gil and Oogly safe inside the zone right now. They just have to kind of gatekeep everybody from coming in.
Yeah, there's some pretty.
Oh, nice shot coming out there. Faded says, nope, not going to make it easy for you. Now they have the one down. Start to see this is where everything's starting to come alive. Trying to make the run across the road. In-game shots go a little bit wide, can't connect. So now it looks like Zero did manage to make a foothold inside of those buildings.
Send endgame got the one player down. He's going to try to go clean up his teammate, but the teammate already pushed up into the circle, and these 7 alive in the blue. He's got a little stretch there to make it across. All these buildings are still in the final circle.
Well, here's the problem with it. Sure, Oakley and Agila, they do have control over these buildings. You can see it. They don't have necessarily the best sight lines. So they're probably going to start hearing a lot of footsteps. They're going to hear everybody that's shifting around next to them. They know that they have to make sure to defend this with 7 people up and alive. But Pip and Prime and Ribs, they're just hanging out.
They're pinned up against this building.
They can kind of like juke out around the side. Might be able to catch somebody unaware.
They're
thinking
going to
that
have to go through
safe.
that building. They don't want to insta-die.
We got Zenith Elm Zero, the solo man right now. He did manage to make his way into that little bitty shack there. As you can see his teammates laying in the road. Now it's about how everybody's going to have to reposition on it. In-game's holding an outside angle.
That's what
Switching
Zenith
through.
did. He pushed right through the hut. Got noticed.
Took a couple of shots, but now everybody knows where he's at. So he's using this opportunity to reposition. Zentrix is making a push down. Was trying to get the shots onto in-game. Just trying to push right back behind. Oakley took a little bit of damage in the exchange as well. Oakley's actually going to go down to the
zone.
blue.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess he thought that he was in a safe spot. Now this is where the peaks start getting really, really dangerous. You can see the people that are inside the buildings actually have one down a piece on it. Meanwhile, Ribs making their push out on the outside. One down coming through there, tries to hit the spray, and nice shots coming out from Zentrix.
Beautiful.
Gets the double kill onto that. Stepping slowly forward as we're down to 5.
Yeah, you've got to have a little idea on really what you want to do, because if you scramble too much and get too worried about your position, first and foremost, you've got to be aware of your surroundings. That's what what the pro players are really accustomed to doing. That's so easy for them, but not necessarily for everybody else. And therefore, when you just tunnel vision on your next position, you forget, gosh, I'm gonna get sprayed in the butt. Like, I didn't say the butt, the booty. And then that could cost you your life. Or you can get, it depends on how geared up you are.
If you have Pan can protect you on it.
Yeah, but only so much. Those legs, though. You know, they got the artery in there.
Oh, yeah. You can tell that Agila and Oogly feel like they need a lot more knowledge right now. Smokes are now coming out, making it a little bit more nerve-wracking from Zentrix, trying to hold this position. Waiting to see who's going to come out of either one of these vehicles. Yes, so we have a duo that's alive, and then we have a couple of solos just hanging out right now. Going to the peaks. In-game is now giving away his position, trying to get the shots onto it. It's like Oakley was stepping outside, trying to use the smokes. Steps right in front of Zentrix, so Zentrix just follows up, gets two, real nice and clean. Is he going to see in-game? Yes, gets the shots onto it. Zentrix goes for it, but he can't quite do it as Elm steps down and sprays him.
I mean, that was a valiant effort, my goodness. I mean, he was just dwindling down on his bullets. He didn't have time to reload, but my goodness, what a push.
He just went off there at the end. There's Zentrix with 8 kills, all things considered. Hero of that round, but we have to say Zenith Elm Zero comes out with the win for his team with 3 kills as well. That was a crazy ending of everybody just kind of like right on top of each other, sneaking, trying to figure out that right angle. And so Oakley just pushed out. They felt like, we think we know where they're at, pushed through the smoke, and just ran right into Zentrix.
Yeah, and that was great, because even though they didn't get the final official win, they actually placed higher with the points. With all those kills, they got 4 points per kill. Zenith Esports, however, congratulations on winning the first map of the day.
That's the way I want to get PUBG rounds started. North America bringing it for our first round. Really excited to see how this is going to play out as we move through the day. We still have 3 more rounds that we're going to be showing on stream, so make sure you guys stay tuned in, but we will be right back in just a second.
They're just trying to go for position. Nice shots coming out from
we're back. Did you guys miss us? Hype in chat if you did. Hype in chat if you didn't. I'm Lisa Malambre, aka Lucy May. With me's Matrum. And wow, that was a great start to the Open Invitational.
Lord,
I'm sorry, Open Qualifier.
Whenever I was thinking about watching teams play on Sandhawk, that's what I was imagining. An ending such as that. I mean, Zentrix just went on a murder spree there towards the end. You saw that he was on the outside to start and then just slowly creeped his way through fight after fight and just exploded there at the end. Didn't necessarily get the win, but came out with 8 kills, all things considered. That was a phenomenal performance from him.
Yeah, and then with the standings, they're still telling everything up, so bear with us while they get that all situated, because I know you're probably spamming chat. We want to see the standings. Hold tight, my little impatient ones. We're going to get that to you as fast as possible. But in the meantime, you know, we want to tweet from you. Can you, first person to tweet me gets a shout out on stream. First person, and you, same.
Okay,
right?
Well, I guess
tweet
that's the way we're going to do it.
I need a Twitch clip, though. I need a hashtag broadcaster Royale with a Twitch clip at me, one at Matrum.
Either one of us, both of us, we'll go ahead. I guess now we have to pay attention to Twitch. Now we got to pay attention to Twitter now.
The Twitter, right.
Oh my gosh.
We're watching
it's just
you.
gonna stack up.
Is it happening?
So with this, guys, we've got a little bit of stuff going on, but one of the other things that we should mention is the Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime accounts. Right now, there are free crates galore that are coming out from Twitch Prime. If you are not yet a member of Twitch Prime, please make sure you link that together. It's free. This that you're looking at right now is free. There's nothing else other than just a couple of clicks away. Just make sure you open up your Amazon Prime account, click it, activate it,
doesn't even have to be your own.
over to.
It doesn't even have to be your own. Maybe it's your parents or a friend. Maybe it's your friend's parents, and they're not even using it on Twitch. Legit, just as long as they let you use their email or something, they're signed in for it somehow. Forget it. I've connected mine so long ago. That's my dedication. And that I forgot how.
There's so many crates. Like we were talking about the Spa Day crate, but in addition to this, there was the Dead Mouse crate that was just happened just a couple of days ago that came through for Amazon Prime. Then there was a crate about 2 or 3 months ago, I want to say, I don't remember off the top of my head, that had all the spiky biker stuff that comes with it. Plus, in addition to that, you also get the ability to subscribe to anybody for free. One free sub per month.
Every month.
So all these guys that you're watching right now, all these broadcasters that are coming putting on a show for you, you see anybody that you think that you like, you're like, hey, this is awesome. Go give them your free Twitch Prime subscriptions.
I'm going to give you my Prime sub. Just don't forget to go back and resub with your Prime. You have to manually do that every month.
So you got to make sure you click it over. And do. I've fallen into that trap a few times.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a thought that counts, and everyone appreciates it. Right, broadcasters? They're all hearing me right now. They're not.
We're giving them free Amazon Prime sub pushes. They have to love us at this point. We love you guys.
We love you guys. And if you're just tuning in, what we're talking about is that in this specific tournament, we have invited pretty much everybody to play. It's if you're a streamer on Twitch, you're in this tournament, basically. We have the invitationals that have been invited, specific streamers, partners, affiliates, and then this open path for anybody to test their hand at competitive PUBG.
Open sign-up. So we're seeing all different types. We were talking about this in the last round where we're seeing people that are coming through just trying to grow their streams. We're seeing people that are in the semi-pro brackets just trying to make a little bit more of a name for themselves, bring some more awareness, so maybe they get picked up by a team. We're seeing professional players inside of it. We're seeing such a diversity of different play styles that are coming into play. I love it. I love seeing it, specifically on these maps. It's so fun to watch PUBG and the different playstyles come in, because there's so many different ways to play PUBG. You got like the passive, a little bit more chill, like, you know, just kind of loot off in the distance style. Then you got a little bit more of the hot drop, like just go in, guns a-blazing, see what can happen with it. Murder, mayhem. And then you have like more of the like in between. You've got like the strategic styles where it's all about the information gathering. That's the joy of PUBG. There's so many different ways you can do it.
And I'm just going to be honest right now. I'm digging it. Digging it. It's coming in hot right here on our OG map. Original. There we go.
Oh, yeah. This is where everybody wants to play. This is what everybody knows. Like, sure, we've been over at Sandhawk. It's a newer map. Everybody's still trying to figure it out a little bit. But let's be honest. There's nothing on this map that most of these players have not seen before. They know how to play different areas of it. They all have their own little cubbies, little things that they like to do, their own different strategies, and now we get to see all of it come to a head.
Absolutely. The major difference, aside from the map size, would be that whereas in Sanhok you could land pretty much anywhere and find everything, here you got to be selective on where you drop. You want to land first, take over an area where you know you can get kitted out, geared up, and ready for the next fight.
Yeah, it's all about plane paths, drop locations, and getting into that safe circle. Again, we talked about different styles. You have teams that are going to just, right as soon as the safe circle pops, they're going to make their way into it, try to claim a territory. You have other teams that are going to loot for a little bit longer, try to play edges. You got some people that might try to set up some sneaky little traps here. That's the fun of this map, is so many different ways that you can try to play this out. So, we're over here with solid FPS and Smack, and I'm going to say that we're on a little bit of a delay, so during the break I went back and was watching it, and you could see whenever it went down, Twitch chat necessarily wasn't the happiest about it. So, you know, Solid and Smack are wanting to come back through, really step up from their last performance,
well,
make their fans happy.
Yeah, well, I hope you guys are tweeting out their best moments. Tweet at them. You know, if you're following them, if you're fans of them, tweet at them, and use the hashtag Broadcaster Royale, tweet them their clip from their stream, right? And maybe your clip will be featured on this channel. Who knows?
We do have a lot of different things that we like to push out on social media, so we can make sure we want to find all the best stuff that's going on. So try to help us find it. We don't have the ability to watch every single stream, catch everything. Somebody might say, like, make some funny jokes, or something interesting might happen.
I want to see a full send on a motorcycle, a two-seater. If someone does a backflip, I want to see that clip.
I'm telling you,
if it happens, right?
There should be style points.
That person will get a $5 donation from me.
Yeah, you've been running that this whole time. We haven't seen anybody do it. So
I'm throwing out challenges. You can not only compete for some money here, Lucy May's paying out. Hello?
Hi. So we're over here at the apartments with Glory Jean posted up, doing a little bit of looting. You can see that there is a separation that's coming over as Patron is way off in the distance over there.
Really
and Aguila is in between them, actually. It's kind of a little bit of an awkward job there, but we're with the Zek and Pentolol, some known commodities inside of the pro scene. Just inside their buggy, cutting off, driving through. There's a little bit of a firefight actually happening back behind them right now. It looks like somebody's taking some pot shots, some people still in their parachutes. It's the risk of long dropping in a situation like this. People that drop hard push into buildings, they can potentially take some shots, but I haven't seen anybody get knocked out of the air yet.
It's pretty tough to take somebody out of the sky. It's not that it's impossible, but is it worth wasting your ammo over?
I think it's worth the risk. There's nothing better than shooting somebody in a parachute and you just see the body drop. It just feels good.
But what feels even better is that parachute dropping and you're in a vehicle and you just come up under them.
Oh, and then just run over. Yeah.
Well, that kills them. If they land on your vehicle.
Got a little bit of an exchange going over here between Glory Jean and Aguila. Aguila was one of our strong performers from the last round, holding down that complex for a long period of time. When he did that outside push through the smokes and got taken down. So at this point, he's kind of by himself, though. He does have his partner, and his partner is just right on top of the same location, I believe. Where is his duo partner at the direct time?
They know they're both there?
Oakley is actually on the outside near the safe zone, so Oakley is not near Aguila. So Aguila's kind of on his own. He's got to kind of survive through this. At this point, you can kind of just do a couple of exchanges, throw some bullets back and forth. Naturally, if it took us a second to figure out if there were two people here, it's going to take this duo a second to figure it out as well. Aguila now knows he's in a little bit of trouble. Doing a little pass by here, looking at one of the known commodities, and everybody's kind of separated out. This is a very comfortable looting zone. As you can see, that there's plenty of space to separate out. But we do have a Blazin got line of sight, or at least hears Elijah,
who has no idea that there's somebody right outside the wall. But Elijah's going to keep running away, probably still trying to find some
Still
ammo
looting. You can tell based off his moving.
Yep.
He's just moving around, still going for his looting patterns at the direct time. No big rush on it. Meanwhile, Blazin's in full stalker mode. You can tell, doing the slow creep.
He's only got 30 bullets, so
Meanwhile,
he's got to be
Elijah's
wise.
like 2 buildings away at this point. And
hey, look at that! Spa day, headset, headgear.
And wearing the PGI set. I can tell everybody right now in chat's just like, no, why do they have it? I want it. So Elijah, you can tell, still looting up right now. Now it's going to be a matter of if the trap pays off. If Elijah goes out those front doors, could run right into a hail of bullets. Zentrix partner,
oh, nice.
No, upside down UAZ.
R.I.P.
But at least it's right next to a motorcycle, so it's not the worst. Maybe that's what they're doing. They were trying to stop for the motorcycle and they accidentally flipped it. It's all planned. See, they're denying the UAZ.
They're denying. True. Well, I mean, you can flip it perhaps with a nade, but then, yeah, is it worth it?
Probably better ways to do it. Ugly taking a little bit of a spray. Now there are 2 people outside of his door. Remembering his teammate is over in the apartments area, so he has to win this. Nice spray coming out, getting the down onto one of it. Peak battles going back and forth, opening the door, drawing attention. Shots come through. Oakley is so low, steps forward and gets it. That is such a brave call.
That was super brave. I was like, no, don't do it. He knew he had the sight on him, the line.
Well, he knew he had to win it. He had to because he couldn't go back in med. If he medded, then it would res. You just have to take the gut call, make the push for it. Elijah does step out. A couple of shots coming through, and yes, the trap does pay off. as Ablazin does get the down and gonna get the kill. So now Drunk is all by himself and doing a little bit of a shake there on the fence.
Got caught up in the barbed wire.
Now popping over here with Smeagol and Teflon, taking some long-range shots over at Ribs and his partner. It's going to be Pip and Prime.
And it's funny because I'm still over here clenched up because I'm like, don't shoot. But we're on Erangel. It's super big. The odds of somebody being nearby is a lot slimmer than on Snock.
At this point, yeah, they're not even inside the circle based off of where they're taking this firefight at. Don't believe. So it's just kind of controlling the areas. They're right next to the edge of the circle, so it's just really trying to get a little bit more zone control. Teflon still trying to hit those long-range shots. You can see a lot of damage coming out here. If you can necessarily get it down here, while you might not get a full kill from it, you can at least do a lot of damage and force it, because you can see that the duo is now separated. Smeagol, Teflon have done a great job of forcing them to two different sides of the hill. Now, problem with it is the fact that the longer this fight goes on, they are going to have to make their way to the safe zone sooner or later. See Smeagol just looking at pixels there, trying to line this up. As you can see, that's rolling over and going for the meds. Just can't quite get. Finally gets a connect on one, gets a connect on two. There we go, gets the drop.
Where did he hit him on that one? Do you have a shoulder hanging out on the other side?
It looks like he was slowly, because whenever you're doing the meds, you roll over to one side, and he finally rolled back over as the meds came down and caught him on the shoulder for it.
Oh, unlucky.
Gilla caught up in this fight with Patron out there. Patron, I always say that one wrong. Patron. So it looks like Gilla and Oakley, they finally met up. They have reunited. Making a little pressure on this apartments area. Naturally, they do have those kills that Oakley just got a moment ago. Got the hiding out behind the car. I kind of appreciate this. Whenever somebody gets the down, don't make it easy for them. Make it as difficult as possible. Make them burn some of their resources. Try to get the grenade. There it goes. Does connect. That's a grenade they could have stored for later in the game. Just don't make it easy for them. Like, make it as hard as possible. Like, crawl back behind trees, shake back and forth. Be like, no, I'm going to make you work for every part of the skill.
Absolutely. No longer you can draw them out, too. It gives your teammate a little opportunity to be able to come by and with a better opportunity to res you, maybe. You never know. Maybe get third party. Maybe get a savior of a third party team to take them out. And then you go for the res. It absolutely does.
So we do have Pewpants over here with Jury. They're kind of cutting across the river right now. They're in the canal, as you can see. Nowhere near the circle, so I'm guessing they're going to take the boat out and around and maybe make their way up to the George Pool Bay area.
I like that play.
A little time consuming, and they're going to be passing a lot of people on the coast, so they have to be cautious about that. A lot of these guys have a phenomenal aim, so we'll have no problems in shooting somebody out the back of a boat.
Just juke them, snake it. You know?
Kind of swivel it a little bit as you're driving. I mean, we have seen some amazing jukes so far today. Like, I gotta say, these guys definitely have been practicing their dodges, their dips. You can see that a lot of little mini shakes come through there using the leans. We saw one person kind of dodge a headshot Matrix style as he just leaned off to the side and it just whizzed right by his head.
Yikes. We do slow-mo on that. But that's fine. I mean, in this, you're not really looking up probably out in the water.
You say that. These guys tend to look everywhere from where I've noticed. It seems like they don't trust anything. I think that's one of the things about whenever you get to high-end PUBG play. They don't trust anything. A bush, it's just, every single time
you can never trust a bush,
every single time you're like, no, this bush is fine. It's safe. There's always a player hiding inside of it. So at this point, you just always assume something's out to get you. Well, we're over here with Drop and his teammate. Looks like they're making a slow approach over into the apartments area, and that's going to be with Gilla and Oogly that we saw earlier. Looks like they're thinking about going back over their buggy. Meanwhile, Glory Jean's just kind of hanging on the outside of the apartments area, just getting a little bit more information. Looks like they don't want to play around the edge, but now some shots coming back their direction as Glory Jean is now coming alive, trying to get some vengeance for his teammate. But they instantly jump out of the buggy, reposition. Oh, they're jumping back into it, trying to make sure that they keep it safe. You can see tires are starting to get knocked out now, slowly creeping up the hillside. But they are going to be able to use the backside of the buggy to provide a little bit of cover.
I was just hoping it was about to blow up. I'd like to see what the health status is on that buggy right now.
But Oakley is now left behind, though, is the thing about it. So they're going to have to figure out how they're going to be able to get him out of that position. So the teammate just took the buggy up to the hillside, come back around the tree. So let's see if he can extricate himself from that. Meanwhile, we're over here with San and Jakey Shoe, just doing a little bit of a drive-through, making their way up to the circle as it's starting to collapse in now. Looks like they're headed towards that Gaka area. We have a good section of the northern part of the map that's in play. Glory Jean, after going just a second ago, looks like he did draw the attention of Drunk. It's like a little bit of a peek battle. He can see the tip of the gun through the grass. Tries to take the spray, but it doesn't quite connect onto it. See, be like, nope. Drop's like, I don't really like this. I'm going to pull back a little bit, get into a little bit more defended position.
Probably didn't expect it to be that close.
He heard the fight that was happening with a vehicle that was driving away,
Right.
heard the vehicle driving away. He wasn't expecting somebody to be right on top of him.
Exactly, yeah.
Glory Jean did do a good job of being very loud at that point. And got a sideways crate. Looks like it hit the top of the building and is tipped over there.
Oh, some goodies in that.
Over in the northern Georgia Pool area. So Carnage and his guys, if they saw that, they might be able to make their way to that. Still staying up around the northern part of Island. So you can see that we do have the river that's running smack dab through the middle of this circle. That's going to be pretty influential as there's a lot of little different choke points they can play. So teams now have to make the choice. Do we go to the north or do we go to the south?
Right.
And then if we see a hard shift either direction, it can make for really hard transition points as they might have to go across these bridges or they might have to go for wide pushes on the outside, really go through the blue, take a lot of extra damage to come into a safe spot.
Yeah, well, we've got two teams coming in on a boat. We've got our team that's still trying to make it down there by passing Prim, coming in still in the blue, but it's the first one at the moment. So
Always
it's not
the best.
hurting as bad.
It's always the team at Primorse. They're always the ones that are just like, nah, we're just going to sit here and we're going to loot forever. We've got meds. We'll slowly make our way up. Boats are elusively slower than you think they are when you're trying to outrun the circle there. But we do have White Rabbit. It's like they found where they're wanting to make their landfall approach at. Fairly safe position. There's a lot of little sneaky spots that you can kind of work your way up. Just climb up this hillside. And I'd have to say it's a lot safer than doing a hard crash on any of the specifically areas right next to Georgia Pool.
Oh, definitely. Looking over at the map here, there's one or two teams over there.
Looks like a couple teams have posted up. We actually
Not
do
a
have some people
terrible
around
position.
Zarky. Chappie taking a couple of shots at a motorcycle as it does drive by. Does hit a little bit of turbulence, flips over,
Good
and
night.
that's a bad thing to get caught on stream with, buddy.
Go to sleep. N45C. Am I missing what that spells? Nice.
Have you ever noticed that whenever somebody flips out of the motorcycle, like the little icon it shows on there just looks like he's so
He's
happy. He's got his
falling.
hands up and
Yeah.
he's just like, whee, as he flies going out of it.
We in chat. We.
Alge opting out of the buggy, thinking that it might be a little bit too hot, jumping over the UAZ. One thing that we have not seen inside of any of our rounds today are people leaning into using UAZs as fortifications in later
Yeah.
circles. That tends to be a pretty popular strategy to use, try to keep your vehicles alive. And so if you end up with like a Gatka field circle or something like that, where there's no cover pieces, try to sneak your car, or you can't really sneak it in, just try to gun it in, get it into a position. But Northerner gonna take a couple of shots at a UAZ as it goes, and Prophet Daddy just barely surviving. But remember, they are out in the blue, so that's gonna tick for a little bit. They're gonna have to make some seat switches as they're driving there and try to get some health up.
Oh, wow, they're really committed to this blue zone fight.
Oh, and now back over here with Taylor J and Pat Caps. I would have to say, there's one team you probably don't want to peek here. It's going to be this duo. They are very gung-ho, not afraid to take any shots, and they will hit the shots. Having them with Car 98s is just scary to watch. So let's see if they can get any lineups on this. As Taylor J looks like they're aware. Somebody's posted up. Shot does come through. Looks like it went a little bit wide. Retaliation shots coming back through as Pat Caps takes a little bit of damage. Company Man holding that angle. These are some hard peaks that they're holding on, so they have to be very, very careful with this because the other team that's playing the terrain right now, playing on the rocks, they can kind of pop up and sneak your spots. When you're holding that window, they know exactly where you are. So they can, if they have a good awareness, they can just kind of pop back up into it. Meanwhile, looks like Envy is having themselves a pretty good round so far, as you can see that they just managed to take down a squad of themselves.
Yeah, and Taylor actually moved out rotated more counterclockwise, because they were looking for him still in the original position, but then he moved, but he's kind of just holding at that angle. I thought maybe he might continue rotating around. Oh, he is. Well, nope.
Well, this is kind of a hard spot to play around. You want to make sure that nobody comes back behind you and hits you with a flank. But it does have a strong point of play inside of these buildings. You can really hold them down. Meanwhile, looking over here at Fergs and Eminem for the win. Looks like they got a profile view on Zek. See a couple of vehicles up there. Trying to get a little bit more information. Pentalil is just kind of scouting out, playing along the hillside. Looks like Fergs retreated back with his duo and was kind of hiding out in here. They are inside the safe zone, so not necessarily the biggest need to go loud at the moment. Don't necessarily know if they have vehicles either, so that's kind of one of the down points about playing these yellows, is if you have to leave the spot, you have to run out, and supply drop. And
Grows up, baby.
Those things are just full of so many goodies. You can see we've got a 15X in there, all the armors, got a ton of weapons, ton of ammo. Managing to sneak one of those is always a good thing.
That was amazing. There was a lot in there. Holding this outside edge.
It's a back over here with Blissey and company, man. So looking back and forth at Taylor J. At this point, nobody's committing to a hard peak right now, and that's kind of the way you should play. Everybody's doing a little bit of leans, trying to be a little risky with it. But every once in a while, this shot does come out, and it's going to force them to be a little bit more conservative with their play style. And I think that you can see both of these duos are starting to get a little antsy at this point, because longer these peak duels go on, specifically with no downs, it just starts to feel like more and more pressure starts to mount up. So you feel like you either need to do something or you just need to leave at a certain point, because you just don't want to waste your time sitting here.
Exactly, and you have to sit there and, oh, another vehicle, that was in the distance. But you have to wonder and decide, is it worth either continuing to stand here waiting for somebody to come up on you on your 6, or leave this fight and hope maybe these guys are going to come up on your 6 later. I mean, it's always a gamble.
Looks like they finally got tired of it, as I think that we saw them hop inside of the vehicles and drive off and away. We do have another supply crate coming in. And this is I gotta say, for as many people as we have up and alive right now, you can definitely tell that the pro meta is coming into effect. Everybody's playing very sneaky, but we do see one duo that's caught right out in the middle of the field on transition. Blob was going for some shots onto that. They get one down, but there is a retaliatory down on this. So they actually took the first shots, but Zentrix and Blazin spun back on it. Now they're just trying to make their way up the hillside so that way they can get line of sight down. I like this. Instead of doing a hard approach, they know that they're going to go for the res, so try to go for the high ground positioning on them. So now they can just turn back around, peek on it, another down coming through, and just takes them down. Such smart play and such great map awareness.
You definitely want to, height advantage is definitely helpful. And these guys were just, unfortunately, not in a good position, even if they got that res up, but, or we were about to. They got the res? I don't remember. Everyone just died so fast.
Over here with Chris and Light Show. Looks like we got Light Show running over here trying to get the res inside of the smokes. I'm willing to bet it's going to be the guys across the way manage to get a little bit of damage on them. So we do have our circle that's about to update here in just a second. Everything's condensing down now. Looking over here at this crate, we do have one person that's on the crate, but we got a duo that's coming up back behind it. Yes?
Do it, you won't. There's some goodies in there. Groza, you're kidded. That's good. You're done.
Everybody's just kind of
Where'd the helmet go?
Probably if it scrolls down, it's probably where it's hiding down at right now. We got Zek and Pentarol. Looks like they're doing a little bit of gatekeeping right on the edge of the circle here. Dropping it down to 60, all things considered. Pentarol gets the down onto Zentrix. Be pretty big, given the different pushes that we see coming through here. Zek's holding a strong sight line right now, but Eminem for the win, still back behind them. Mind, they've had line of sight this whole time, so whenever these fights happen, anytime they retreat back, they feel like they're safe, jumping back in the vehicles, and Eminem for the win, just gonna let them go. Oh no, there it goes, finally they come alive. They're like, that's what they were waiting for. Got the down, got the kills. Bergs lines it up, so managed to take down one. Now it's all on to what the duo partner does. Does he hop in the vehicle? And yes, he's out. He's like, nope. Zek's like, nope, sorry buddy, they get your loot. That was well played, I'm out of here.
Moving up in the placement to get those higher points. What's the goal there? 1v2, not necessarily your, ideal situation. So definitely good call. Probably just get on out of there.
And make a hard push down there. So we've got Frank Cilantro here, caught up into a fight with Prophet Daddy. Long range UMP shots coming back, a little bit of damage coming through, but retaliation coming back from Boom, back behind him there.
Boom, baby.
Trying to get a line of sight. They're back about 200 meters on the other side of this ridge line behind them. I don't know if Frank Cilantro knows where that shot came from.
I don't.
But you can see that got the Noble guys right on the other side of the hill. So with the smoke down, they already hit one shot on it, so they can just potentially line up and wait. Catch these guys right as soon as the smoke dissipates. And no, they're not even going to wait that long. They're just going to go ahead and take pot shots, think that they know where the tree's at, look at the shape of the tree, try to angle it down, see if you can maybe get some lucky shots into it. Frank's going to retreat back off of that. I got to say, Prophet Daddy has to feel really good about that. That gave him a little bit of a reprieve, so now he's not under the same duress that he was beforehand. Northern lines up some nice shots onto this, so we can see two people going down there. It's all about the long range at this point, as everybody's just trying to light up each other with sniper rifles.
Yeah, I mean, Ridiculous and Boom putting on these long-range shots. Maybe the odds of these guys landing these shots and getting kills are pretty good. However, it is good to just keep the pressure, keep them scrambling, force them into running around in the open field as they are right now, trying to find some cover.
Well, with a field like this, if you hit the shots, you can get the kills. So they're just staying on it, netting it, and you can see, pays off. Long range shots coming through there, but still, Prophet Daddy hanging out like, nope. Now we've got Pat Caps holding position. Taylor J is down at the direct time, so he's caught himself into a 2v1. See Pat Caps off in the distance, already down on the little fuzzy part of the scope to the right side of the screen. So they're just trying to figure out exactly where he's at. Pat Caps is holding this wall angle. He knows that if they want to try to go for this kill, they have to step forward. But the downside with it is, it's so hard to make it over towards his teammate. He can't get a clean res from this position. He has to make sure that he gets something off of it. See the leans coming into strong effect right now as people are holding different angles. Looks like Jury he may want to be a little bit more aggressive. Taking a long-range grenade. If this connects, that would be absolutely amazing. Shows a little bit low. Now the blue's coming in. Pressure's now going to mount. I think at this point he can even go for Taylor J. It would be too hard of a push. He's just playing for his own survival at this point, praying that maybe the blue, the smokes, the nades will scare them out, force them to retreat back, and it finally does. So they're actually just going to leave the fight in color-coordinated clothing at that. And Pat Caps is going to be able to make it over here. He's going to try to get this res off. It's going to be ticking down. Can he outrun the tick damage from the circle? Be pretty close. And yes, he does. But now he's just got to get the meds as fast as he can, throw some bandages up there.
Yeah, they have a vehicle, so they can just hop on that and go. Because I don't believe it was blown up.
I'm too used to playing competitive circles with the harder tick rates. I thought that he was just going to have to bandage and then throw into it. But that time around, no, he could just time it out, use the med kit, kick in through there. So with this, we got guys from Noble making their way down from the north. You can see Aguilas are right back behind them. Prophet Daddy still alive, hiding behind the tree. And his protectors, Noble earlier, really saving him, coming out in front of him. But we do have it collapse right around the Georgia Pool area with crates in play. It means that this could have a lot of people kind of hiding out in little sneaky spots. While we do have guys from Georgia Pool slowly making their way out forward. Come back over here with Envious players is now line of sight back down at Shrimsy, trying to light him up as it looks like they're trying to go for a supply crate.
Nice, and we've got our top 20 teams as it stands this moment after round one. Dos Hombres in first place, and Zenith, they did win the round, as I was saying. However, dropping down to second place due to the kill count. Dos Hombres just dominated.
We got GG Horses right back behind that. You can see it's still pretty close at this point. Naturally, only one round has been played as of right now. We are on the second round. Looking over here with the Nova guys. It seems like they see somebody that was peeking the top of the hill in front of them. Still 53 duos, 53 people alive, 31 duos. So there's a lot of little sneaky places to play. We still have Everest in part of this. Finally, somebody steps up and goes forward, and it's going to be Oakley that gets taken down. Oakley that gets taken down there. It's going to be Shrimsy holding an angle and going to take down King Tet as well. So Ferg's going for a reposition, slowly trying to make his way inside of the safe zone. Now we can see the map, and as it plays out here, he bans a by. Off in distance, didn't quite take the shots, but Money Shot Moses. It's a shame that WTF Moses didn't get a cast. Money Shot Moses.
Money Shot, well, we'll see if Money Shot Moses lives up to his name. Does he have the Money Shot?
Oh, he's going to have to at this point. He's all by his lonesome. Doesn't have any kills as of yet. Looks like his teammate did just get killed right back behind him, as you can see. He's got the little skull and crossbones. It's on the map. Now, see that everybody's got to start making their way into the safe zone. I think it's all going to be about the different teams holding different positions. See that a couple of long-range skirmishes are still happening on the outside of it, but the safe zone's still very far to the north at this point. These guys essentially have to cross Everest. So this duo is actually fighting across the way, trying to make sure that they can get the kills onto Yardlong Schlong in the distance there. I'm Chappie's also sneaking up, and they do connect. Chlor hits a nice shot onto that, so it gives them a little bit extra movement. But they're going to be running right back up into another duo at the top of Everest.
Little do they know. But I mean, you gotta assume that there's gonna be people on top of that mountain there, little mini mountain. Oh, Unknown Gaming taking a lot of shots, but getting that stolen from someone else. Am I wrong? I didn't hear the teammates who we were watching get that shot. Might have been a little swoop in from somebody else.
Never can tell inside of these angles off, but I didn't manage it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I glanced away and was looking at the map and looked back over. So now we've got Allergen that's coming back over here with his teammate Shrimsy. Still got their UAZs strong. And in a map where we're at right now, we do have the crates in play, but there comes a lot of other opportunities that you can play at different train points. The only problem with it is we still have a lot of Everest in play, and you can see that's where they're setting up their fortification, is at the base of Everest. So maybe that's holding those high ground areas could potentially fire down under them. Actually, way off in the distance, you can see they're repositioning down. Nate's coming back over towards Light Show. As you can see, a little bit of his gun was sticking out there. Steps back up right next to the Nate. He's like, hey, this might not be the best idea.
Oh, someone knows where you are, buddy. Run away! Survive to live another day. Oh, this is...
Coming over here with some patience, you can see. Blissy's got line of sight on a duo. Doesn't want to necessarily go active at the direct time because he doesn't want them to spin back over him. He's just waiting for them to maybe get a beat on somebody. Actually, a little bit of a firefight happening. He's hoping that these two duos will kind of eliminate each other. Doesn't want to give away his position. Remember, these are the guys that drove over their UAZs a second ago. So we had a descending team coming down from Everest that is just slowly making their way down towards them. One member's down. I love this. He's trying to figure out exactly what's happening inside the fight before he makes an action, listening to where all the shots are coming from. And now you see the power of that UAZ fortification there. Sure, even if these UAZs get destroyed, the explosion radius isn't huge. So you just have to shift out away just a little bit. So you just have to be aware of who's getting shot and whenever it's getting torn apart. But now we got Pat Caps stepping straight up and forward into Venerated. Venerated does go down. Caden does get some vengeance back. So that's going to be Taylor J dead as well. And an easy res should be coming out for Caden here. But they're on the outskirts of the crates area, so they're going to have to keep an eye on how this goes through. It looks like a motorcycle and a car all just hard crashing right into the water there. Everybody's just popping it off as they drive off the side. Actually, Chris looks like he managed to catch the side of the cliff. Managed to play that out. Bopping back over here with this other fight a second ago. Remember, Blissey hiding inside of his little bush over there, looking back down. See, JP Cloud has gotten knocked as well, so Cherry Poppins knows that there's a fight off to the side of it. Looks like, I'm going to guess it was Blissey that went loud because Cherry Poppins is beaded in on that location.
Yeah, Blissey's not sure. He's looking over at other shots happening. And now he went to, looks like he went to heal and he got shot from the side.
Oh, nice shots coming out from Caden there, just spraying down the motorcycle. We do have the two Envy boys still alive, and these guys play aggressive whenever they're feeling the mood. Already 5 kills for it. You can see they're just hard pushing this. They're like, hey, we saw somebody approach over here. They just step out and forward. Imminent for the win. Does get the down onto one of them. Now Caden's caught up in a rock peak back and forth. He's got to try to save his teammate. Gets the down onto it. Barely gives him a little bit of life. Gets the kill onto it. And way off in the distance, you can see it's Fergs going with some peak shots. Meanwhile, Venerated is hard bleeding out back behind him. Look how fast he's ticking. Now he's in the blue. Venerated is as good as dead. Caden's now got to jump down, make his way down this hillside. Now he's out in the open and he has to run, tailing behind the blue right into Fergs. If Fergs goes for a peek here, it could be disastrous for this Envy duo.
Absolutely, because Caden's taking damage right now through the blue, but he's have to come in handicapped with his health.
Going down the smokes. Going for the spray. It goes a little bit wide. He's not inside of his smokes as of yet. It's got to be the blue and the tick damage combined together, and Fergs manages to get the kill onto it. Meanwhile, Smack taking some long-range shots way over there at that Dossie as it was trying to drive over there. Now, it was an interesting little shift out from Smack. I was like, what's PUBG Spectator play?
There it is.
All right, so now we've got our mermaids.
Zenith
These are all the guys
up.
that decided to crash into the water.
Oh, this is about to be real bad for Zenith. Killed Homer. I killed Homer. He knows where you're at.
Get Chris on the other side of it. Smack lost his helmet inside of these skirmishes going through, but he does have a little bit of control over this. Solid is alive as well, so they've got a little bit of the crates they can play. So right on the outside of this, though, is just wide open. There's not a lot of different train pieces to play around, so it's going to be about a run and gun here in a second in this next circle as everybody's kind of forced to collapse in. Well, guys look like they're under a little bit of a fight with Stealthy Mosquito trying to get the res onto Adaculus. You can tell whenever it's duos, it's so nerve-wracking when you're going for a res like this. You go, okay, are they going to be pushing? Are they taking this opportunity instead?
Because you don't have your teammates in squads. You've got your other teammates
and
to
you
help
lose so much vision.
Out.
Because remember, we are playing in first person, so whenever you commit to that res, you're just essentially looking at the guy that's down right in front of you. But do get the res, and they're going to get the down on one of them. Spin it back around. Adaculus gets the kill onto that. They still need to make their way across the river, though. So the circle's going to start coming in just a moment. They have to be very, very careful. And now giving away their position, stepping forward. I like this going through the windows. He thinks that he knows exactly where Stealthy Mosquito is at. So instead of just doing a hard peek around the outside, go through the windows, go for a reposition. Boom looks like he might be the bait on this, so the shots do come out. Now they know exactly where he's at. The circle's now collapsing in. Mosquito's playing around the outside. And you can see this one's starting to tick pretty hard. You can't stay outside the blue for too long on this. Meanwhile, the guys in Noble have a little bit of an inside track. Just got to mop it up there. Nice shots coming out from Adaculus. Meanwhile, we got Jakey Chu just chasing down a mermaid going, nope, 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 nope. You don't get to do this. We're not playing the old meta. You don't get to hide in the water anymore. All the guys that are trying to make their way across the river are just getting destroyed. Meanwhile, we got Smack and Solid just trying to make sure they can maintain control of these couple of crates that are still inside here. And wow, man, just use the doorway right up in front of him. This is going to be a hard. They try to get him out of there. They're going to have to work together as a duo, step out into the open, and push inside of that crate. And I think that they're aware. They had to hear the footsteps for it. But meanwhile, the guy inside the crate can hear all this little pitter-patter of feet around him.
Yeah, they're trying to safely make sure that there's nobody else around. I think, like you said, I think they know that he's in the nearby area. They're just not sure if he's inside the crate or not.
Is that a flashbang that they drew?
No, it's smoke.
Smoke?
All right. Here, buddy, have some cover.
Yeah, hey, I'll throw down one, too. Let's just go ahead and join the party.
boys.
Meanwhile, we've got Drunk out in the background. And it's like, no, you guys just do you. You guys fight each other. I'll kind of play this out. 7 people alive, and we're looking at 4 of them over in the crates area. We do have a couple of people that are playing along the coast. That's going to be the guys that were taking down the mermaids just a second ago. So the guys that are playing around the river are going to have to make their way up in just a second. A couple of shots going back as Jake Chu does get some shots on the Zenith Element. Nice push coming out from Solid, just getting the down onto that, and that drops us down to 5. So with this, we did see the Nova guys also go out in the distance. Drunk looks like he's managed to get himself into a little bit of a comfortable position. I like this. He's playing the upper crate, so that means somebody has to approach from the top and has to jump over if they're going to try. Or maybe just lob some grenades in there, but you have to know that he's there at this point. This is the other side of the fight that we've got going right now with Fergs, doing a slow creep over next to Jakey Chu.
That's actually a really good position for Fergs with this end circle, because all he has to worry about now is, obviously, Jakey Chu is about to advance on him. He has no idea, but that's his only side he has to essentially pay attention to, because he knows he's got water behind him, the blue is behind him, and then everyone, he's got the defilade of that cliff side. Oh, but he didn't see him on the ledge there, right next to him, Jakey Chu. And Fergs, just neighbors.
A DP at this range could be crazy useful. Specifically, how this is going to play out. Well, this is a little brave here, jumping forward, just crashing down, slamming down, finding a little bit of a hill to play around. He did manage to make himself inside the circle. Well, we got Drunk still on the outside, hiding down here. You can see all the nades getting thrown on. He's like, hey, sooner or later, you guys are going to have to leave the spot, and I'm going to catch you. It's a matter of, do Smack and Solid, do they know that he's there? They have to know the positioning for it. Jakey Chu with some nice shots off of his position. Gets it down on. He's actually playing this aggressive, stepping forward. He's fighting 3 different players at the direct time. Trying to step this out, trying to get the down and get the kill. He manages to net 1. It's just the spray of fire from the bullets. He's got steps around, manages to take down Smack as well. Jakey Chu is just coming alive, steps around the wrong angle, and now we've got Drunk and Fergs as our last 2 alive.
But Fergs is in the prime position because he's just been sitting back listening to all the gunfire happening, and he knows where everyone's going to be coming from. There's 1 guy left. He's just going to sit and wait for a body to pop out into the open because that's the only place you have left to go now.
Well, he actually has control over the circle now. With the way that Drunk played that, he went out, he got the kills. He knows he has control over this area. But see, now Fergs can just pepper in.
Yeah.
Drunk has to now force his way out of this. The circle's now coming in, caught into a 1v1. Doesn't have time to get the full meds off. Now it's just a matter of just keeping an ear out, looking for smokes. Does he manage to drop down and get inside the safe zone? Fergs knows exactly where he's at. You can tell by the spray. Now it's just a matter of lining up the shots. Drunk did manage to get the heal off, though. Steps up, playing this aggro, but Fergs just has the beat on him. Gets the down on for it. So Fergs comes out with 4 kills there and the round win.
Yeah, 5 total for the team, so that'll be really helpful coming into the second round standings. Fergs with 4, Eminem for the win with 1. Drunk and Elijah. Drunk played that really well. Not sure exactly where we lost Elijah, but Drunk played that. Ending it got, he played that, ran in there. All those people in that little area in the crates, and then he managed to be the sole one coming out of there.
That's 2 rounds in a row. We've seen kind of like this little mini urban fight that's been happening there. So nice job to the double us coming through there with Eminem for the win and J4K. So I think that's an old carry back to one of the old team names, which is the W's.
Oh, is it?
I think that's
So,
W's.
like, you know,
That's what I said. It was double us.
W's.
I think it's W's because that was one of their old team names way back like 9 months ago.
Dropping that knowledge, Matt.
Ooh,
look at this guy. Yeah.
It's been a while. The PUBG scene has been slowly growing, getting a little bit more attention here and there, so always nice to see it come through here. Plus, we always get tons of new faces, new events, such as the broadcaster Royale. But you know what else we get that's new?
What is that, Matt?
We get crates for free. So if you have not yet done it, make sure that you go and you attach your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Get the free goodies that you're looking at right here. Rock around in style. We saw a couple of players that were using it inside of the last round. They're pretty fun.
Towelhead.
Nice relaxing situation for you to be playing through there. But we have now finished our second round, guys. We still have 2 more on stream that we're going to be showing, and it's a double down for Sanhok.
Oh, yeah, double down. I like that. That was really snazzy, man.
So with this, we're going to be taking a quick break in just a second, but we will be back in just a moment. Make sure you guys stay tuned in.
Royale presented by Twitch. If you're just joining in, we've got 2 rounds down. We're going into our 3rd round for the first week of NA Open Qualifier. Matt, that last match.
Oh,
Did you
love
call
it.
that?
I love it. I love it whenever we end up in fights like that. I gotta say, massive kudos to Drunk as well. He had a position, he was inside of a safe zone spot, and he was like, nope, I have an inside track on this, steps forward, nets a lot of kills out of it, and almost managed to retaliate back around. But Fergus comes out, great positioning inside the circle, making sure to use the smoke, slowly creep up, and just manages to come out with a win. I mean, we don't get to see too many solid crate endings inside of like whenever we're spectating as far as competitive environment, so it's always a treat to get to see that, like watching people have to navigate these little tight corridors and play around it. And gotta give kudos as well, Smack and Solid FPS, they played inside of that, and they kept so many teams out of there, but eventually the attrition was just too much.
It can get a little squirrely in there, and there's also some, you can get elevation on those crates too, whereas typically if there's buildings in with those, within those smaller circles, you can't get on top of them. But those crates, if you do happen to get a little ledge up, you know, you might find somebody on right directly over you. So that was interesting how
The first 2 rounds have been just crazy finishes. I love it. So I'm looking forward to these next 2 rounds. We're going to be going back to Sandhawk.
back to Murder Town.
At this point, we should just call it Murder Town because it's the way it comes through. I
Sorry,
love
Blue
that
Hole,
map.
We've renamed your map.
Yeah, nope, this is the way we're going to do it. We're just going to call it this from now on.
It's officially Murder Town.
Twitch, I won't let that happen. They're never going to let that happen. They're like, no.
They're,
But
they're
to be fair,
already saying no. They're like,
I can
stop.
properly pronounce Murder Town. I can't seem to properly pronounce Sandhawk? Sandhawk?
Potato. That's what we're gonna say at this point. I think we were trying to get the next map underway. It's all right, Matt. It's the effort that counts. E for effort, A for effort. Either way, both are good, I suppose.
With this, guys, we want to hear who you think are going to win. We're 2 rounds in, so we're halfway through what's going on with North America. So you can see down below me, it does have the hashtag broadcaster Royale that's coming through there. So make sure that you guys do tweet out who you think are going to take this. We've already seen some phenomenal performances coming through here. I know that there's a couple of favorites. I can see you guys in Twitch chat bantering back and forth with each other. You guys supporting your specific duos inside of this. Take it all the way to Twitter. Let us know who you think's going to win.
Don't forget that hashtag, though. That hashtag's important. Hashtag broadcaster Royale added in. Don't forget. It is a lengthy one.
A little lengthy, yeah.
It'll work.
Hashtag broadcaster Royale. That's
Yeah.
fairly lengthy in there. A lot of letters to say the least.
But at least now with the extension, you know, of the characters on Twitter, it's fun.
I know. We've got plenty of
fun.
space for it.
Here you go.
Now we're back over here. We're going to be popping in 2 rounds in a row. And I love this map. It is so fun to watch. We saw a couple of interesting fights happen very early on the EU side. Specifically, the later that we moved into it, they just got a little bit more violent because they started realizing how much these points stack up whenever you get the kills. So while placement is key inside of this, there is only about 5 points difference in between standings. And when you have kills being 4 points, that's essentially a placement for every kill that you get. So you can drop down a little bit low, but if you just go explosive early game, you can kind of overcome falling out a little bit early.
Well, you notice some of the teams are definitely keeping that in mind, because even towards end circle, sometimes they're like, you know what, I'm in a really bad position. I might as well go guns blazing, get as many kills as I can right now, because I might not win this, but I could place higher because of all these extra kills.
Without a doubt, and they've been very influential in a lot of the rounds, as we've been seeing in the invitational qualifiers today and the open qualifiers in the rounds that were earlier today. A lot of these teams end up with about 15-20 points between them, so 4 or 5 kills stack up real fast on the leaderboard.
Absolutely, so don't be afraid. And everyone here has shown they are not afraid.
We can't have fear
to
and
get
battle
into
royale.
a battle. Well, some people do, you know what I mean? That's the passive play where they want to get to the live finals, and they see it as, that means my body needs to still be standing for that chicken dinner, or at least top 3.
The standings are definitely important inside of it, so that's what we're probably going to see in the early game, but we can note that we have the Zek and Pentalol they have dropped, and they do have some neighbors. It looks like it's going to be Cloud that's dropped right next to him. 2 different duos already trying to line up. And there's no real easy way. There is the outside ocean around this location, I believe.
Are they leaving? Oh, no, they're just rotating to another.
Yeah, no, I think that they're cutting out. They're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw somebody land right next to us. We got a little bit. No, actually.
Yeah, there was just another house. They're rotating to get some more loot. Yikes.
Long range shots coming back. It's going to be Zek that takes the bad end of that exchange, though. Now going around to the other side and meets another partner. This could be really bad. Pentalol is way off in the distance. He hasn't really connected with all his shots, but he did get the down onto one of them. So this is a 1v1 for control over this area. Cherry Poppins on the outside. Pentalol's trying to do a push over to the side. Make sure that he can at least defend his teammate. Don't allow for an easy res because they're stacked up on top of each other. So one res is going to come out. Now Pentalol is firmly aware of this. This is going to be bad timing, so he has to go for the res. He doesn't want to go for the push because he knows that if he goes for the push right now, he'll be walking into 2 different bullets. So with this, you can see that Cloud has managed to get into a position, but not a lot of time to get any meds at this point. So Zek and Cloud could pop up, but they're not going to have a lot to really work with here. They're going to be playing off of low health. You can see these guys haven't had a chance to get any real loot other than the weapons they have on their backs.
But look at what's happening right now. Third party. We got Pat Caps, Taylor coming in. They heard those shots. They're like, we want in on this party.
Hey, what's going on over here? You can see they're on the other side of the building. They're just like, hey, let's see if we can be involved in this.
It is getting squirrely in here.
Poppins throwing out the nade. Zek's taking a little bit of damage there. Well, actually, didn't take any damage off the nade. He's still low from whenever he got downed earlier. Poppins still trying to hold this angle. You can tell this is tense. These early skirmishes, whenever nobody's had a chance to get any armors, that's so rough. Now Cat Cap's firmly aware of what's happening. Like, hey, we want to join this party. We want all of your kills.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Beautiful nade coming out from Pat Cap. So he got 2 kills off of that. Zek still real low on life over there. Pat Cap's got himself a rifle and a scope to play with, while Pentalol still holding that low ground position right on the other side of this building. They've got to figure out how they're going to make any plays off of this, because I got to say, Pat Caps, Taylor J, they're already pretty kitted at this point. They're just kind of strolling through. Now with this, though, Pat Caps trying to play around this. They're going to give away position because he can hear the footsteps. Did see Zek beforehand, but doesn't know Pentalol is right on his doorstep.
Looks like Taylor just
nice
sitting
spray
there.
coming in from Pentalol. That is going to give away his position, though. So now all pressure on to Pat Cap. Exchange back and forth. And Pentalol and Zek somehow come out of that alive. And they get tons of free loot for it.
Tons of free loot. They said the delivery service has been fantastic. 5 stars to you guys.
Now we're over here with N45C. Caught up in a little bit of a skirmish.
Ooh.
And a grenade comes in.
A lot of nade kills at the start.
Yeah. They're influential inside of these little bitty buildings. There's not a lot of terrain. Like if you look back on Miramar, there's a lot of like little things that you can hide around. And this, you can't really just like back up into the corners as easily. You're gonna get a little bit of the grenade damage. So we've got our standings up on the board, and Zenith Esports climbing up to the top there. Only 8 points back behind them, though, is W's. Behind that's gonna be Conflict Esports, about 20 points back behind them, and then TSM only 12 points back behind that, so we can start to see how this is all breaking down. Remember, it's not necessarily the top 5. It's going to be a lot of these teams that are going to make it into the top 20 can move on to the next rounds. So everybody that we're seeing on this list right now is in a strong performing position.
Absolutely.
And that's not going to be a strong performing position.
Whoa.
Sorry, it's a TSM. Not right as soon as we bring up the leaderboard, and we're like TSM right up inside.
Maybe they got a little.
Sorry.
The thing is, coming off of Erangel and then having to go into a way faster paced. I mean, that's you've obviously got to make that adjustment, but this is way faster. And when you get comfortable in those more precise movements and rotations on Erangel, you have less time to really think about what you want to do on Sanhok.
It's a lot more reactionary.
Exactly.
Again, we were talking about this earlier. Communication is really big on this map because there's so many little interesting places that people play around. People can come at you from so many different angles. You've got to convey that information as fast as possible to your teammate whenever you spot somebody outside of a firefight. And you have to have those synergies. You just got to be on point and assume everything around you is out to kill you. Speaking of, Teflon is just sitting here waiting. Got beat on a Dougie.
I'm swirling with him.
Playing around, like shifting back around. You don't want to line it up. Just don't want to sit there because that's whenever somebody's just going to snipe you in
That's
long
when you get your
range.
head
So
gone, right?
you can see that anytime anybody goes up to a window, they just kind of do like this little swivel around. You don't want to just step up and like look around like, hey guys, what's going on out here? And just get a Car 98 to the face.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got Pew Pants and Jury way out inside the blue right now. I wouldn't say way out in the blue, but they're slowly making their way in. Lock and Arb's trying to make their push across the bridge there, but they're running into Zentrix, so we've got the Nova guys caught up over here. Blazin taking a little bit of damage as they're going forward. Trying to get a little bit more of a better position as they're not yet inside the safe zone, so they've got to slowly creep their way forward. Lock and Arb took a little bit of damage. Looks like you can see Richie going for a little bit of a peek. He's gonna catch Zentrix's feet.
What?
He's just hard running this. He wanted to
happening?
try to make it to the dip that's right in front of the bridge, so that way he could
But
crash
he
down.
straight lined that so hard. I feel like he could have just dodged a little bit to the left, use a little bit the cover of those vehicles. He just went right straight down the middle. There was no care
I
in the
understand
world.
the mindset of what he was going for, and he was probably hoping that a Blazin was going to provide some form of cover fire back for him.
Oh, yikes, that synergy.
That might
Like
have there might be a
communication.
little bit of communication going on right
Yeah.
now between them. Be like, bro, you're supposed to have my back.
You were supposed to shoot them, suppress fire.
But sometimes, whenever you end up in a situation, he's in the middle of the road. Like, he couldn't have pushed to the right or the left. You just got to commit and pray. Maybe they'll miss their shots. Maybe. And in that case, the maybe was
But he was
not
getting
true.
shot at, and he just still didn't flinch. That's where I'm confused. I get the urgency to get to that dip, take cover, but once he was getting shot, he didn't react to that. He committed to the straight line and said, I know this line is the one that's getting me shot, but I'm going to stay here instead of maybe just
Maybe
tweaking
throwing
it
some
to
jukes, at least
something to
something
the left,
in
to
there.
the right.
Maybe do. Yeah, but anything that you kind of do will slow you down. So
But
I agree
is he
100%
alive
with
right
what you're
now,
saying.
Matchroom? Is
I
he alive
agree
right now?
100% with what you're saying. But also, I see the other side of
I
it as
get it
well.
too,
So
but-
it's like, you're right. He is dead. So maybe
Yeah.
he should pull the gun. So with this, we got in-game running along with Dougie here. Molotov's going back and forth. As you can see, Duck's holding the outside angle with his buddy Chappie.
Our
Distance on the
last-
outside, we got Fergs way over there in the distance. You can hear, see that they're kind of listening in, seeing what's happening.
And then everyone's kind of rotating apart from each other here. But Ferg's team captures Dougie's team running across there.
And now look at the concentration we see on the map right now. Everybody's playing around this river. We got a couple of people that are on the southern area into the west, but it's few and far between. Everybody's collapsing down from the north and from the eastern sides. So they're meeting right around this river point. So that means that all these people that are going to be coming in transitions, they're going to have their work cut out for them, because if they choose to path through this zone, it's just going to be a bloodbath. Speaking of, see that Caden's getting a couple of shots off there. Meanwhile, Light Show and Chris looking off in the distance towards the other teams.
I thought you were
So-
going to lead to, speaking of bath.
Oh, well, I don't want to lead in bath. I mean, you can go ahead and take it, because whenever you want to take a bath, what do you want?
You want the spa day crates.
That's right. I'm going to keep pushing those until everybody in chat has one. Go
Yeah.
get your free crates,
Oh,
everyone.
You know what's really sad? I
What?
haven't even gotten it yet. No, wait, did I? I might have just the other day.
If you signed up for one of them, essentially the other one regardless. So if you got the dead mouse crate, it should automatically be sent.
Right, but you have to go in, you have to get click that crown in
Oh,
Twitch.
yeah, you do.
It'll give you a pop down, and then it'll say spa day crate, except, yes, it's as simple as that.
I mean, it's just so simple, guys.
Super simple.
Just go get your crate. Go get your
And
free
they look
cosmetics.
super purple and awesome.
Look all comfy and purple and pretty. So now we're back over here with in-game, and it's Dougie. Positioning around, looking around near them. You can see that this is that concentration area we were talking about. It's going to be really hard to commit to any fights in this location due to the fact that there's a couple of dead zones. Naturally, we have the river that's running right between it that we're looking at now. But also, in between the buildings where everybody's posted up at, it's really hard to cross those points. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth exchanges. You can see one down does come into play, waiting for the res to come through, as it looks like waiting for the teammate to make a hard push on the outside. Glory Jean holding down a position back behind them. That closed the door. Like, nope. I'm going to get this res. Thanks, buddy. So Fergs does manage to make it over to Eminem for the win. Here the bullets cascading against the doorway on the outside, but none of them should connect based off of the angle. Meanwhile, Duck and Chappie do come across a Light Show, and Chris get a couple of kills on the other angle, just on the outside of this.
Couple kills added to the tally. This isn't personally, you've got to avoid this area, really. Like, these guys are either this is how they landed, the flight path, they just happen to be here, or they're
As you can
super
tell,
confident in their gunplay.
It's a lot of the players are slowly maneuvering into this point. They feel like it's a strong point on the map. They want to get a little bit of control for it.
But it's kind of a difficult one because you've got also the line of sight for the people up on the hillsides on both ends of it. So you really got to stay in, and if you want to peek out, somebody up top's got a scope, and they're going to see you pop out, and you're not expecting it. I mean, it's just...
Well, you tend to see a lot of teams kind of opt away from playing buildings at this point. See, Ribs definitely not in that category. He's like, nope, I like this building. I'm going to stay inside of it for as long as I can. Get myself a down off of it. Not going to get the kill, so looks like the blue zone might actually end up with getting the points for that. The distance, you can see Oogly over there. He's now starting to do their hard push. We're still in one of the earlier circles, so it doesn't tick too terribly hard, so you can play around with it for just a bit. And while Teflon does have line of sight from the distance on, it's going to be dropping his duo partner. A couple of peaks coming through there, as you can see, just narrowly missing as it's colliding with the tree in the ground right in front of him. Drops just trying to retreat back, and that's actually going to be where the fire does come connect with him on the back. And we're going to continue to condense down around our really populated area. So all these guys, look in the northeastern part of the circle right now. That's not inside the safe zone. All those guys are going to need to condense down a specific spot. It's going to get really bloody. Ribs slowly creep away. And wow, great shots coming out from Chlora and Kimchi. That was just like, no, I'll take the one on the left. You take the one on the right. Get the drops on it. So nice plays coming out from them. 5 kills already. And they do have another duo that's just on the other side of the hill.
And you're...
Oh! But now Vengeance comes back.
Third party, they heard your shots.
What just happened to them what they just did gets returned back towards them now.
The karma is real.
See, it's going to be Brody B-Boss making his way with Maverick. Everybody's just doing this slow creep around the outside. This is very common. A lot of people really like to play around this, you know, kind of push around the edge of the circle and try to find the closest point to the safe zone and then push in. So that means that a lot of these duos are all collapsing into the same spot with the same mindset.
If you'll notice, guys, just a heads up, if that left column is your top 20 as it stands right now after 2 maps. Zenith is still in the lead. If you're just joining us.
I gotta say, we can see Mavericks, Brody Boss, they're getting a lot of control over this area. Kimchi pushing down the hillside, trying to make it over towards the safe zone right now. A couple other duos already in a position.
Oh, I get it. Kimchi, it's a play on kimchi.
Yeah, kimchi.
I was thinking cheesy, and then I realized there's a Kim in front of it. I like it.
It's always nice whenever you find like the hidden witty names. You're just like,
as a half Korean, I like it.
Hey. Oh, now we're over here with Oakley. Remember, we saw a great performance coming out of them, getting in the top 5 of our earlier rounds. Already lost his teammate though. Pants off in the distance. Gonna have to move from this position, make their way inside the safe zone. Do have Jury and Pants we were just talking about, now making their trek across this way. Drop still up and alive. Can't see any health bars attached to him at this point. Elijah and Drunk now holding this outside angle. Look at the mini-map. So many people.
Wow.
All within about, like, what, 50 meters of each other?
They posted up an invite to an event, a block party happening over here. Apparently, we've got 1, 2, 3, easily 4. Gosh, there's a lot of teams and even more in the extreme nearby.
Everybody just kind of hanging out, just like, hey, there's 2 unoccupied buildings there. So
Kimchi playing, he's solo now, so that's his game for the rest of the time. Pretty much is going to be staying quiet, hold it up. Yep.
Just kind of let it go. Actually, he looks like he's looking in angles right now. He's trying to get information.
I think, yeah, he's just trying to stay ready for if somebody does make a push.
Doing a little bit of shift. Mavericks doing a hard push in this building. Shots come out, but he was like, no, this building's a little bit hot, so I'm just going to do a little bit of ring around the rosy here. Go back to the same angle that I just entered from. Like, hey, what's going on here? Who was shooting at me? I just don't think I want to have anything to do with that building anymore.
I was surprised he even survived that. He didn't even take any damage.
Yeah, he was just kind of running through. Meanwhile, we got Pintalol taking some pot shots at Stealthy Mosquito. Gets the down onto that. Meanwhile, his teammates, looks like he's trying to go for a res outside in the blue. Zexer's going to use this opportunity to go and get their way inside the safe zone. We got Smeagol now. Look like they're on the outside of this, joining the party.
Don't do it, Kimchi. You have so much to live for.
Kimchi wants, you can tell. Let's go for the big.
God. You're
right. Just barely misses it. Steps around, takes the shots, and does connect with it. Gonna get him down. That is gonna give away his position now, though. As you can see, a lot of people are starting to get a little bit heated inside of this exchange. Maverick's trying to get control, and yes, does get. You see that Maverick does go down. Brody has near on no life. Steps into the wrong room and gets shot from behind.
We've seen a lot of this where people will just hole up in the closet of a house. People are just meandering through, and then they get got, or they even come into the closet, not expecting somebody to be hiding, and then they lose their lives. Oh,
That's
man.
Like week 1 PUBG toilet strats, if you remember. It's like you take a couple of shots, you think that you're in a bad position, just go hide over, get in the bathtub, pray that somebody opens the door, maybe get a kill based off of it. Now we're over here with Teflon and Smeagol, making their way up the hillside. Naturally, they heard about the firefight that was going down back behind them, looking back towards Drunk. Way off in the distance, you can see Oogly's also making a similar path, but we do have Teflon and Smeagol that have gotten a little bit of a foothold inside the safe zone, but they have see that Drunk has to push up this hillside. And that's going to be real rough for him and his duo partner. Prophet Daddy going down in the distance. Oakley probably can see what's happening in front of him, but he just doesn't want to have anything to do with this. He knows he's still outside and in the blue. Now Drunk's making his push up on the outside of this. A little bit to the south. Now we have duos pushing on a similar angle and might actually be able to see them. See, way off in the distance, that light purple color is going to be Smeagol that are kind of set up in their trap.
And that's one thing that you have to remember is just because there's blue doesn't mean there's nobody out there. Yes, it hurts, but this is not as...
Oh, nice shots
with
coming
an
up from
assist
Teflon.
from the blue zone. So that's where it can be beneficial and harmful alike. However...
King Tet managing to sneak off over there, and you can see that it's going to be GSOT making his push, and Smeagol doesn't see him. So he's going to be at a lower angle right now, so kind of looking off in the distance, and that kind of allowed him to get into a very sneaky spot here. Might be able to get a little bit of return damage, maybe a vengeance kill back if he wants it enough. 19 teams, 18 teams now alive, 31 people up and active. This looks like a nice nade coming out there, getting a kill onto a duo. Kavalt, our guy from one of the earlier rounds, remember that was trying to swim away from a fight in our very first round and just got hunted down.
Yeah, it seems like you might be protected in the water, but it's just really not anymore. Like, you can really see each other.
Teflon and Smeagol slowly making their way down the hillside. Ferg's taking some long-range shots out over here. See if maybe they can steal a couple of kills. Nah, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get that one, but at least inflict what damage you can. I killed Homer holding this low ground position, already inside the safe zone, waiting for all these duos to have to make their trek down from the blue. It's at a point now where it's starting to tick pretty hefty. You don't want to hang out there for too long at this stage. Realizing it's a little bit too hot, you can see going for it. I push off the outside. It can't quite do it. Nice shots coming out from I killed Homer, taking down a Blazin.
Yeah, that's, this is a game of, there's a little luck involved for sure, because you don't know where the circle's going to shift. You don't know what's going down with the environment altogether. And so you want to, going too early can cost you your life. Staying too long in the blue could allow the blue to take your health down just enough so that only a few bullets, half the bullets necessary to kill you, are needed, and you go down just in an instant.
Such a close range 4x spray there. Like, I know you were there. Just put the beat in. I mean, PUBG does have some RNG elements to it, but I think it's all about adaptability inside of it. So that you can see that we are seeing constantly repeating performers come through this. Guys are definitely making sure that we're seeing a lot of repeat killers coming through this. So it's all about adaptation. How do you deal with being put in a bad situation? How do you figure out a way to not necessarily fight the RNG, but make sure that you can use the best of your advantage and get into those positions? I think that's one of the beautiful things that we see from players, is seeing them go, okay, this is not an ideal situation. Like right now, Lizzie Boy is not an ideal situation. Gets taken down, gets caught by a duo there. But it's just a matter of adapting to these bad situations and just trying to make sure that you can make the most out of them in any given situation.
That's what makes PUBG so adrenaline-filled, because you could make it an epic play based on those variables, or it could really go against you.
Now we've got another bad neighborhood breaking out over here. Look at all the duos stacked up on top of each other. We got Dougie holding down one spot. Meanwhile, Glory Jean caught up into a fight with Endgame on the outside. King Tet's just on the outside of this as well, trying to hold this angle. Hard shift across the river. Look at all the people on the mini-map. They are now going to have to swim across the river at this point. That's going to be a catastrophe for so many of these duos. They have to figure out some safe way to make it across. And you can see all these other duos already on the other side of the beach, just waiting for them.
Yeah, I'm going to say maybe only 2 teams are going to make it out of that west side of that river. Duck and Chappie are holed up in the house that's in the final, or this current circle. So they're going to have a tough time holding it down, as everybody that's coming in is going to be trying to take over those points.
Popping over here with the guys from Noble, Boom and Adaculus. Up in a little bit of a skirmish. They are not inside the safe zone. They're one of the teams that have to push on, make their way across the river, and they're caught up in a little bit of a fight right now. I know it's risky to take the steps out. You can see Fergs is off in the distance. Fergs is running back down. I think that they're just going to try to hard swim this at this point. Separate out a little bit. It's not too terribly deep, so maybe you can move fast enough, but there are several duos hot on their heels. Now it's just a matter of, do you take the shots or not? Dougie with some nice positioning there, jumping back down through. Steps on the outside. Beautiful spray, getting the down. He needed to clutch that to survive. He's having to leave his teammate out and behind him. Meanwhile, it looks like we're going to see a Adaculus get taken down there, I believe is what we saw.
And Boom.
And Boom as they make the push over. Now it's going to be Fergs that gets dropped, making their push on the beachhead. Aiming in for the win, walks into a hail of bullets coming out from Glory Jean as well. So now we're seeing a lot of those teams that were trying to make it across the river just get torn up. You can see Teflon in a strong spot. Smeagol, his teammate, bleeding out in the background right next to him. But he wants to get this down on Dougie before he makes any type of play. And
Well,
it
there
doesn't
he
have to make
goes.
it. Like, that's nothing. You're like beating it on that guy, and all of a sudden you just see his head pop over to the side. Like, oh, well,
I want this guy-
that solves that problem.
Right. I want this guy dead. It is answered.
And now with this, we are down to 7 up and active. We've got Patron and Glory Jean holding down this little area over here. We've got Teflon holding different point. I think it's going to pop out in the water. Just get away from it just to be safe. Duck and Chappie holding down this middle ground position. Teflon off outside over there. And then we have, I believe it's going to be Shrimsy and his teammate. Chappie looks like he has an idea on where one of these players is. Just waiting for a head peek on it. Connects. Nice shots coming out from Chappie there. Doing some work. So now Patron's going to have to run over to his teammate. A little bit of res. Remember, we are at that attrition stage right now. So every single time you get it down, anytime you get like knock off any armor, any helmets, anything like that, make them burn through meds, could be so critical for these next couple of fights.
Now here's the heat Duck and Chappie are feeling as everybody starts condensing down into this really small final circle, or one of the last circles. Chappie goes down.
He hits the shots on this, running through the smoke, trying to make sure they can at least get to some form of cover. But with this firefight, it allowed the other duos that were on the outside to run in. And now we've got everybody caught up in these couple of buildings. Teflon's trying to get the spray, get the kill on this, but it's going to be Duck that does manage to end up getting the final kill onto it. Chappie looks like he's going to go for an easy res off of this. Tron has a general idea on what's going on around it. We are now down to 6, and it's going to condense down over towards the north.
4 teams, so we have 2 duos, 2 solos.
Oh, beautiful nade coming out from Teflon. He has control of the circle on top of that, so he's got a nice angle on this. All pressure is now going to be on to Allergen and Shrimsy there. Steps forward, some shots come through. Patron gets the down, trying to get the kill onto it. Could Allergen get back over to the res? I don't think that anybody's going to go for a push on it. I love this. Teflon keeps repositioning. He's just popping up, getting a kill here, stepping off at a different angle, trying to make sure he can, doesn't let anybody know where he's at specifically. Patron realizes this is his opportunity. He got it down. He could potentially get a kill. Steps forward. Door closes right as soon as he steps into it. Now he's having to retreat. You can tell he's trying to just figure out what's happening around him. Gets popped up from behind and taken down. Threw him off just a touch. Now Teflon caught into a 2v1, trying to do a spray both directions. He knows where one of them is. Thought he heard them on the other side of us. Instead, steps through the window. Now peeks back around, looks through, can't quite connect on the shot. So Allergen comes out on top of this with his boy Shrimsy.
Congratulations! Wow, that was gonna be a tough one. It was a 1v2 situation at that end, but he stuck it out. He got in there. That team, they got 7 kills though. Still. Second place, team 1 with 6 kills. So just barely, at least they got 6, and they're still gonna keep that first place going in with these points anyhow.
Oh, yeah.
Not the first place all around, but just in this.
And so with that, we've got the Hooligans coming up with a win. That's gonna be Shrimsy and Allergen. Really nice performance coming out of them. Getting a nice little bit of rotation. We're seeing a lot of people that are hanging out in that top 5 and top 10 position right now. So that's going to be really interesting to see how the leaderboard's starting to stack up, because we still have a lot of people that are pretty close.
Yep.
But I know we got a couple of teams that were starting to move into that top 8 spot, getting pretty strong, go out pretty early in that last round.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what the kill counts are, but we're going to tally that up for you while we take this break, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you right after this. broadcast of Royale, where we, for the live broadcast, are on our last map, back again on Sanhok. What did you say earlier? Double dipping. Something.
Yeah, we're doubling down.
Doubling down
Sanhok.
on Sanhok right now.
2 times in a row.
2 times. And that's because earlier during their qualifiers leading up to the Open here for the broadcast, they had to, keep the integrity of the show and redo a map or so. And therefore, we're going to do this last one for you all, and they will complete their 5th one after this and then get your final standings. So pay attention to that, which will be up on broadcasterroyale.com a little later. And right now, how about we just discuss what we just saw, what just happened, the energy, the vibes, the reels, all of the kills?
We've had so many crazy endings in North America. Like, we had some really nice, polite endings on circles. Like, hey, let's go to fields. Let's make sure we can get in positions, kind of gun it down. Right now, it's a lot of building fights. We're seeing a lot of people that are having to play around. We saw crates in one game. We saw 2 building skirmishes on Sanhok between these last rounds. I'm kind of curious where this last round is going to take us. I'm almost expecting something really random, like, hey, let's just go to Temple, just cuz. Reasons.
Ruins now, for those of you that
Ruins.
could be new to PUBG.
Yeah.
Weird. He's trying to bring in some, old school, I know what it used to be called during the test phase.
Well, you learn all the names because you're, anticipating, okay, we're going to be talking about this a little bit, and then all of a sudden they change it up on me, PUBG Corp. Why you do this?
It's an evolving and growing situation. But it's awesome, and it's amazing, and we're going to get to see this amazing, fast-paced map in action once again. 3rd time today. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of fun.
I gotta say, it hasn't disappointed yet. It's such an amazing map. I absolutely love watching it.
Yeah. I mean, I like calling it out because it's pretty much something's happening all the time because it's so small. You're same amount of people, way smaller real estate. And so therefore there's going to be a gunfight somewhere.
And a lot of different terrain pieces to play around. So, naturally, you have the big hills that you can get up. You can get vision, but there's the risk that somebody could shoot you back. You got, the caves area that you can play around. We've got the ruins area that you're talking about.
We haven't seen that today yet.
We saw an amazing caves ending yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think that was on Latin America, wasn't it?
Perhaps.
With that really sneaky play where the guy was outside in the blue, met it up, and slowly snuck his way in and got that double kill to finish it off. That was so good.
I wonder if we'll see that this round. Well, let's find out. Everyone's getting ready and loading up in there. Let's start the round. But in the meantime, hey, check it out. Paradise. This is actually my favorite drop. I'll be honest.
You like going here?
I like to drop
fun.
here.
It's fun. And there's so much loot on the ground there whenever you drop into the resort. It's not resort anymore, is it? It's something else?
Paradise Resort.
Paradise Resort. Okay,
Yeah.
So see, look, my old school
little
knowledge
bit.
still
There you
comes
go.
into play there. So whenever you drop into resort and you've managed to all this loot and there's all these fun angles to play around. And hey, when you're at a resort, what you like?
Spa.
Hitting the spa, yes. We're gonna keep on talking about these spa crates. So please, guys, make sure you connect your Amazon Prime to your Twitch. Go hit the little crown that's in the top right corner and get yourself a free spa crate. Why would you not do it? Just go get it. Free. Free.
Spa crates. Skins for your in-game characters on PUBG. Yikes.
So, now we've got the plane path coming in. It's kind of interesting to play out now. As you can see, it's got the nice little banner tailing back behind it. We got everybody just kind of bailing. I always love that angle whenever you see everybody separating out, going to their different points, and you can kind of see everybody trying to collect information, going, okay, we should be clear if we stay on this. We've got somebody that's down below us. We've got somebody else that's on this other angle. And now all about who drops where, who's brave, who's confident, because you can see a lot of these swoops come into play. People are spinning around going, no, we're going to drop in this specific spot, and can either force another team, or they just might drop right next to you and hot drop buildings apart. And that could be really big because we are in, again, the last broadcasted round of the day. So we'll have to see how this all comes together.
And it'll be interesting, though, to say the least, because typically with the rotation with the maps this is the last one. So then the way you go into this map would be different if this were, in fact, the 5th map of today. But being the 4th, knowing that they have still Miramar to play on, they're not going to play this the same way they would had this been the 5th.
Specifically, they got to learn a lot of information from the last round, and you can directly carry it over into this round coming through. And we got Kim Cheesy that was stepping forward, but it looks like Maverick did get the inside beat on that, managed to take them down. So now we're over here with UA David X and his teammate Drop as they're over in the boot camp area. Tends to be a pretty spicy place to drop. Off in the distance, you can see the Prophet boys in a position doing a little bit of looting. UA David playing a very, I'd have to say, confident role up on the top of that. A lot of people can see around you, but we do have first circles coming to play. Looks like we're going to be heading down towards the southern part of the island. Most of the teams are already inside the circle. Really, it's just going to be the guys that are in the far north and that northwestern island. They're going to have to reposition. But nice shots coming out from Drop. They're going to get the drop onto Prophet Daddy. At this point, see if they decide to push in it. Looks like this is kind of a hard push to make because you have to cross this little area for it, but they feel like they can get this. They're coming in as a duo. Pushing in strong, stepping around the outside, popping over with Drunk now as looks like he's going to get finished off and taken down.
Both of them matching up with those new the sets, PGI. Was that was the
ringside set, I believe?
Ringside, yeah.
That's what we saw. You see Prophet Daddy does get taken down again. Sun tries to go for the shots there, but no, it is going to be Twitch UA David that actually gets the kill onto Sun. So with this, we've got a little bit of control over the boot camp area, kind of coming down to Drop and UA David. And Lizboy all by lonesome.
Did his teammate? Oh, yeah.
Didn't have a teammate last time around. All solo, by themselves.
Wow, this pan over.
All lonely.
All lonely.
This is not the map you want to come into by yourself, to say the least, because there's so many different angles you have to control. So kudos to playing through that. Over here with Glory, Jean, and Patron. Doing a good job so far inside of our leaderboards. They do have guys right off next to them. I think that's Shrews holding that position.
Yep. Shrews and
TPS guys right off the outside. Looks like they're
Blood.
right around the bridge area. So it's going to be Blood and Shrews making their approach. Now we got Smack and Solid FPS, as well as Oogly and Aguila making an approach right back behind Smack. Let's see Smack and teammate Solid FPS pushed up into these buildings, doing a little bit of extra looting as we just are in that looting phase, but he's got his Vector out. Seems to be aware that they're going to be in a close range skirmish, waiting for his teammate to come forward. Looks like they have a little bit more of an inside track on what's happening. A Solid was just not even aware there was another duo there. Gets taken down, and Smack gets killed as well. That's some bad news for the TSM guys.
It's really early in the game, and they're probably really upset by that. I mean, everyone would be upset to be out at this point, but these boys were performing wonderfully throughout the rest of the maps, and they were not expected to go out so soon.
He really wants to come in. He really loves to be a competitor. He really loves playing in these style of events. So whenever you get taken down in a situation such as that, you know he's going to take it to heart. And just, I got to say, he's one of the nicest guys out there, and I just love to see him play. So, no, don't take it too in. That's one of these things with an event such as this. There's a lot of people that are going to be competing inside of it. Everybody that's participating inside of it, make sure to give them your love, because they're just coming up. They're trying to perform for you. Sure, there's money on the line, but all these guys are broadcasting right now, and they want you to come check them out. So please make sure you do that. There's tons of cool storylines that are going on. All these individual streams. You probably have some people that are joking, a couple people a little bit more serious. Make sure you tune in. Check out anybody you think is cool inside of this so far.
Lamp-a-Lot, I was wondering what he was going to do because he heard the shots going down in boot camp, but he decided to actually just veer away as he lost his teammate. So he's like, I'm by myself, not trying to fight any fights at boot camp. So you guys have fun with that. This lonely little care package.
With just about everything inside of it. Grows on this map is pretty strong. The spray is pretty good. You got yourself a DMR and sniper rifle suppressor inside of that, as well as all the level 3s. Well, it's just at this point playing for survival, firmly aware that definitely outnumbered. 69 players still up and alive, way off in the distance. See, that's the problem with peeking the top of those hills. Look at the range. Lamp-a-Lot was like, hey, wait, there's somebody over there. I got to keep an eye on that location.
Yeah, and he's got a suppressor on that long-range weapon, so he could go ahead and try to take some shots.
Meanwhile, we've got Oogly and Aguila still up and alive, being active. Looks like they got a push on the outside of Weem. They know exactly where he is, but Aguila does get taken down. Gonna return, try to get the downs onto it, but now Oogly's under a lot of fire. Sprays coming back and forth. Both these guys are pretty lit at this point. Grenades are starting to come out, crash down around. You can see Weem's going for a hard peek. One side of it, trying to collect some information. Oogly's just waiting for the side peek right now. They're both kind of just waiting for each other. Now, almost simultaneously, you're like, no, okay, we didn't see anything. Let's try to get a little bit of meds off of this. Oogly, oh look, going for the step out, doesn't know where he's at. Weem goes for the grenade. Tries to flash in a specific spot, goes for a hard peek, steps really far out, and you can tell Oogly was not expecting that. Nice play coming out from Weem.
Yeah, he's watching that left side, but he did actually flick right onto him pretty quickly. It's just, he put into more bullets into him than he did into the other guy.
Well, it's so tricky.
Clearly.
Whenever you're sitting there, you like get in these peak battles, everybody just kind of like pokes their head out, pokes their head out. Sometimes doing that real wide like just reach out, take like 3 or 4 steps out.
Extra steps.
Everybody is expecting
Yep.
you to just step out. That's when the shots come through and you can get a nice speed and get a little bit more distance and vision inside of it. It's a big gamble, but whenever it works, it pays off.
I think it works more than it doesn't. But here you'll see on the left side of your screen, the top 20, currently as it stands, double U's is what you're saying it's called. They're in first place.
Usually there's like a little apostrophe inside of there or something like that. They could be doing double us just because
I like
it's like
double
a duo.
us.
There's like
Yeah.
a duo inside of it, so double us. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Aiming in for the win. It's an old again. That's a callback. I love the W's from back in the day. So with this, we also have Zenith Esports in second place. Pretty close back behind that, we do have Hooligans. Noble being very sneaky in this and moving up to a position right back behind them. Only about 8 points back behind it. Meanwhile, Conflict Esports White also right back behind them. Shots going down back and forth right now between Nickel Steel. Some shots on GSOT as well as it's going to be pop back over here. And now it's going to be back over to Nickel Steel. Holding this angle, his teammate just get knocked. Now he's being forced into a 2v1 position, trying to get the meds. Grenade's pretty good. They're going to force him to step forward, take some shots. Nice spray control coming out from Nickel Steel, forcing this into a 1v1. But a very easy res coming out for him. He still has his work cut out. Dropping over here now with Zenith Elm down on a duo, trying to make their way across the river. Company man's trying to make his way through. Zenith does take a couple of shots. Going to retreat back over towards his duo, and that should allow them to make landfall on the other side of the river.
They're in a pretty good position, and there's no rush to leave this area. Just hold it down, stay alive.
Well, now the fight that we're looking at the direct time, neither one of these squads are inside the safe zone, so they've kind of caught themselves up. Nickel Steel does have a little bit of an inside track right now, so these guys are going to have to push over towards him, going with a nade, trying to get connected up, and it does connect.
Nice.
So now a lot of pressure coming back. Look, GSOT is so low right now, but there is another duo that's coming out of the blue at this point, coming in very late. They hear this fight that's happening. So Nickel Steel stepping up. Now shots are starting to come through. Coming back behind him is his teammate. See, GSOT did get a little bit more meds on it, but now he keeps stepping out into the blue, trying to find a right angle that's some form safe. But for as long as this fight's happening, you can see that other duo is getting into a great position, could potentially flank back around, back behind Nickel Steel. So again, the longer this fight goes on, it just kind of makes it problematic for everybody because nobody's inside the safe zone. These guys have to detangle from this and get out and away. Meanwhile, back over here with Zentrix and a Blazin. Back down the scopes. Just being patient with it, like, hey, maybe they'll see somebody, take some shots, give it. Sometimes that's a smart thing to do. You can kind of like watch another duo, let them kind of scout for you. They start taking some shots at somebody. Now you know where another duo is, and then you can kill them. Saves yourself a little bit of information gathering.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not.
Still got a little bit of a fight going on over here as now Rock is on a little bit of duress, trying to survive through this. GSOT is still somehow alive outside in the blue, trying to tank it up. You can see a little bit of the gun went through the wall there, so Nickel still knows where he's at. Lost his, all he's down to is bandages. This is not good for you. Like, no helmet. Every peak's going to be just a catastrophe waiting to happen.
Meanwhile, we have Nickel Steel over here, fully stimmed. Health is no problem.
That's being like, you got to come out of here sooner or later, buddy.
It's like, no worries. I got you.
They really want these 4 points. They're like, no, we're going to at least make you work for it. If I was GSOT, I would just kind of sit. I'd be like, nah.
I mean, they're not that close to the zone, or far, I mean, from the zone. Yeah. They could essentially kind of peel back a little bit, at least get in the zone, stop taking damage, and still have a line of sight on this guy.
Well, he might try to do something tricksy. They don't know how many minutes they
have.
And there we go. Finally finished. He goes for the peak. Now going to go out. It looks like they're going to try to go for meds. Hey,
why did he peek the same window?
He doesn't have any
Go to a
meds.
different one.
He doesn't have any. He didn't have much at all. Just a little bit of ammo is the only thing they're going to get off of that one. So now over here with UA David, and we got Light Show and Chris on the other side of it. Inside this, you can see a lot of these duos are all stacked around this little road time. Off in the distance, we've got Dougie holding down his position. Meanwhile, let's kind of hang out.
Yeah,
chit chat with your friend.
You're starting to feel a little bit more of the urgency to stay alive. In this, I feel like last time we were watching fights go down after fight so quickly. There was rarely any lull.
And now it's a little bit more relaxed. Everybody's going for a central point. You can see on the mini map there. Everybody's going for a centered position because there's less of a chance you'll have to move just based on the math and how the circles work. So that's why a lot of these teams are opting into playing hard center, but it does mean they're all kind of stacked up on top of each other. So Invin's doing a slow push. Top of the hillside here. We do have the circle pops up. These duos that he is looking at are going to have to push over towards him. Meanwhile, he's got a teammate down on the low side of the hill. It's going to be in 4-5C. Centrix, meanwhile, bleeding out right on the other side of that rock there. Blazin looks like he realized he can't do anything off of it, so just a little bit of information being fed by his teammate. Hey, at least finish him off with a gun. Hey,
and it makes sure you're dead.
Yeah, you know, well, sometimes somebody will come over there and like punch him to death and be like, ha 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 ha. But I like, don't take the gamble, don't waste the time. Just hit the shots on it, get out of there. Meanwhile, over here with Teflon and Smeagol, holding a low ground position, firing back up at Kavalt, and I killed Homer.
So, really risky for Smeagol and his partner to be out there in the open that long and trying to take those shots up the hill because their whole backside is exposed.
Look at this. There's a reposition out coming out from Kavalt, and I killed Homer. Going to be running right up back behind Kalor. His duo partner in a position just on the other side of those trees down to his left. You can see in those buildings down there. Well, still playing around the outside, looking and seeing, hey, we don't necessarily want to move inside the circle. Well, they're inside the safe circle, but they don't want to move deep inside of it. Yakichu getting caught up in a fight on the bridge over here as we got Banzify and Madabear. See if this nade's gonna pop over, throwing it up. Gonna connect. JP Sand gets tanked hard with that nade, trying to make sure that he can get a little bit more health off of it. Banzify looks like he really wants to play this position. I love it. Be a little sneaky. No, he's like, too much risk at this point. Chappie, meanwhile, looks like he's going off in the distance over there, netting himself some kills. Madabear slow picking on this, get the kill, so that way the teammate can't feed any more information. Go for a reposition. They have the two different angles. They can know that they can approach from two different ways. Now it's all the pressure's on Asani. He's got to hold this angle. Headshots come through. A lot of trade back and forth onto it. Now it's onto the duo partner to set him up, and perfectly played there.
Yeah, it's never a good idea to. Oh, I mean, maybe I wonder if he could have gone for a dive off the bridge, maybe.
Possibly. Could have jumped off the side there.
It might not have worked out in the end. It probably wouldn't have worked out actually, but
he was pretty pinned at that point. But sometimes you do see people opt into the water life. You know, just go full life aquatic. Just be like, okay, this isn't working. Just jump out, try to get something off of it.
It's so shallow there too, though. Do you survive that?
You have to land in certain spots. There are a couple of like little, like I guess, sandbars that come out there. So if you're not careful and you jump off in the wrong spot, you can just like face tank right down into the ground, which is kind of funny. Nade coming out from Dougie. I think that there's a wall in between him and Adacula, so nothing to worry about there. Boom is dead off to the outside of the building over there. So we got in-game Dougie kind of holding this position, kind of hanging out there. This is again another one of those bad neighborhood states with 50 people alive. Everybody's just kind of being patient at this point. If you're inside the circle, don't want to go for anything too risky.
Right. And it is 2v1, but I guess they're opting, like I said, to just play more cautiously in hopes of not getting third-partied easily from the outside while they go in for that final kill on Adaculus. Adaculus is like, peace out, everybody.
I managed to sneak out of that.
Yeah.
Like, nope, I don't want to be a part of it. Meanwhile, Vault gets shot. I killed Homer, now got all the pressure onto him, and just gets destroyed from Duck and Chappie. That just came out of nowhere, got them. Nice positioning coming out from them inside of it. So, see, they're holding down pretty much the center of the circle right now. So all these duos are trying to collapse around them. This is the hard part. While it's nice to have the center of the circle because it does favor you mathematically, the problem with it is whenever it doesn't and everybody's condensed down around you, as we can now see, because now there's about 4 or 5 duos all around Chappie and them, and they have to figure out some way to get out of it.
Love that.
Now we've got Teflon and Smeagol taking a couple of pot shots, cross from one hillside to the other one, just trying to make sure that somebody's life a little bit hellish, so that way they can't really easily approach. They're going to have to run down that hillside right into this hail of bullets, and let's be honest, that's just hard to do. So Teflon realizes they don't have control of the circle yet. Sure, we could get those kills, but let's play for positioning. Specifically, you can tell the teams with a lot of experience inside of this realize kills are important, but position will always net you more kills in the long term. So if you play off of the right position points, you can get all the kills you need. Don't overextend, don't get too greedy.
Exactly, and that QBU he was holding, man, it's so loud. So you want to talk about being able to hear shots going down.
Well, we got a nice crate sitting here, and it looks like Eagle Steel, they're kind of scoping it out. You can see off in the distance looking over there, like, is it worth? We used to refer to those as like streamer bait or streamer traps there, because whenever you see any of these events, people are gonna, you want to go in there, you want to get the level 3, specifically now that we see that the level 3s are inside the crates. You want to get control, you want to get those because it gives you so much extra survivability.
Yeah, that level 3 helmet is only in the crates, and that will definitely net you more life.
Adaculus gets spotted out, spray comes out, manages to get the down on it though, takes very little damage. Now looking for the duo partner, trying to spray up and through, can't quite connect on the headshot. Span Spy does come out on top of that. Meanwhile, over here with Allergen and Shimzy. They're just doing a push, making their way inside the safe zone as it looks like so many duos are condensing around this spot that we're looking at, specifically on the eastern part of the safe zone. Got about maybe 10 duos all about to collapse into roughly the same location.
I'm glad we're back here on Idaculus because he just fought through that 1v2. He's alive. He's trying to heal up now with that full stim he's got going.
Back through, running back, playing across the edge. He's trying to make sure that he's trying to figure out exactly where everybody's at. That's the thing about being a solo player. Yeah. You don't want to play it too aggressively.
Exactly.
You kind of lose that ability to go do the centering up strategies like we're talking about when you're by your lonesome. There's a little bit too much risk in having to run by all those people. Meanwhile, Lampalot does a push up to the hillside, does get a down and a kill onto Duck. That's going to force I Am Champion to try to figure out how he's going to make the plays around this. Daculus just near on surrounded at this point. Teflon, Smeagol, they're holding this a little bit of a ravine down inside of this. They have a duo in front of them, another duo down to their left, 2 duos back behind them. See, that's going to be Lampalot that's doing the push back onto Chappie.
Oh, here comes. Look at everyone filing in with the blue zone, coming to the circle where everyone's holding that line.
It's just going to be bad for so many of these teams that haven't managed to get this inside position yet, because they're just going to be running into all these people that are already kind of posted up. Daculus firmly aware of that's why he's kind of tanking the blue just a little bit, make sure that he can get his meds, get his stims, take his time. He knows that he's close, but you can see there's duo just sitting there waiting for him. They're just holding that position, just going to try to gatekeep him out. So now all pressure onto him is just to survive. Meanwhile, Richie just turns around the corner and is like, hey, somebody just delivered me a free kill. Just going to go ahead and mop that up there. It's like, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. So, moving off. See that? Still taking a little bit of damage. Teflon's still playing inside of this ravine. They are ahead of everybody else that's following behind them, and they have to hold this position. You can see that they're kind of leading the pack, running right over to where Chris and Lightshow are. So if they can get into a position where Chris... Oh, Daculus.
Oh, no.
Falls down in the stream.
There he went, out in the road. But, I mean, there's pros and cons at this point where it's, yes, they made it in, but they've now got to take those fights. That circle he just entered is small enough to be seen by whoever else is already there, but now he's got all these teams coming up behind him. Hopefully they're going to knock each other out, but...
Well, we got a Lampalot. Remember, killed Chappie's partner a second ago. Now they're just kind of hanging out next to each other. Teflon getting some shots on these guys. They're starting to make their way inside the circle, and this is the benefit of it. Since they had that inside position, they got here first. Everybody else is playing against pressure. They have the circle that's coming back behind them. Chappie actually getting a couple of kills as well. Smeagol's holding down a different angle onto a different duo right now. So we've got the 2 different duos lighting up, and wow, nice shots coming out from Smeagol, getting the down onto one of them, giving himself a little bit of breathing room over there. Because I gotta say, this is like a last stand style position. Smeagol and Teflon are holding this angle, and they have to fight everybody that's trying to encroach in here. They have to try to run and gun every single time they get a shot, try to get a couple more meds, move into a new position, wait for the next duo to come up back behind them, because there are so many people out and around them. They know that they got it down on somebody down the hillside. Meanwhile, Drop's holding this position. Richie's running right down below them, trying to get this, just drops down right inside the safe zone. Meanwhile, Drop gets taken down, going to be from Locknarb on the side of it. Teflon still holding this position.
Teammate down.
So many duos just collapsing on. Does get killed. I think it's going to be from Mavericks that's in that low position. Now, everything is on Teflon's shoulders. He knows that he has people that are encroaching back behind him. He has to get this kill in front of him to move forward. Can Mavericks connect with this shot? They both opt away to reposition. It looks like right about the same time. So now Mavericks is going to be able to make it over to the safe zone. Teflon's going to go for some meds. Meanwhile, everything's starting to get a little bit more explosive with Chris and Lightshow holding that angle down below them. They are still inside the safe zone and kind of gatekeep everybody else that wants to make an approach from the southern angle, because look at so many people.
I was just going to say, there's 12 people alive still.
Everybody's just trying to vie for some type of position. Mavericks looks like he's going to be pushing over to one side, but we've got the Envy Boys still up and alive, slowly making their way towards a hilltop.
Look at Maverick just chilling in the swamp area. Nobody knows he's even there.
In the water, hiding out. Meanwhile, Blazin hiding in a rock, can hear the footsteps. You can see looking back over to NC45. Lightshow taking some pot shots over in distance. Maybe Teflon trying to make his way down the hillside. So we got UA David does get knocked down. Caden does get a shot onto one of them, but gets dropped in return by Drop.
I was going to say, was that a play?
Envious gets taken down there. So let's see how we're... Slow creep coming up as Envin's now making this slow approach at the top of the hill. Maverick still hiding down the bush.
Nobody sees Maverick. He's in the wide open, but he's clearly camouflaged beautifully by the water there. So many people have run by and have not even seen him.
Well, we've got 8 alive, but with the way that the train plays out, there's like this. There's a couple of little hills that everybody's kind of posted up on, and these little valleys. So everybody's just waiting right now. New circle has popped. It's gone over towards the eastern side. So Envin in 45C, they're going to have to make their way over towards where Drop is at. Where Drop is kind of by himself right now. Envy did get the down and the kill onto one of them before going out themselves. So now he seems to have an idea on where Drop is. Takes the shot, does connect, doesn't connect with a headshot though, but does a lot of damage, forces him to retreat down behind this rock. So now he can't hold the strong position as everybody's going to be trying to encroach inside the circle. So Mavericks still playing down, hanging up there. Like, no guys, just go do you. I'm just gonna, you have to say that's probably not the most comfortable place. He's just like laying in water, really muddy water down there. He got all like the weeds and swampy style stuff around him.
You can probably bet it's really warm though. So might be assuring. You know,
yeah,
almost like being at the spa. But we're not going to get there yet.
No,
we need to
we're in the
still,
topic.
we
can't talk
this.
about the spa
Yeah.
So,
I love he's still there.
just chilling. Now we got Drop that's got a shot down onto a Blazin, but he gave away his position. So NC45, all right, N45C does take the shots on Maverick. Finally comes up and alive, goes for the spray, gets the down onto one, tries to get the spin onto the second one, and gets it. So barely there.
Bush Wookie for the win.
Is it Swamp Wookie?
Swamp Wookie.
Yeah, Swamp Wookie now. So he managed to survive through that. Chris, Light Show still inside the safe zone. Trying to reposition. Teflon still alive after holding down. Like, that was like a Spartan-style fight that was occurring back there.
Yeah, because there were a lot of people converging onto him, and now we've got one duo and 2 solos. 4 alive.
Now, I believe it was Maverick that actually killed Teflon's partner whenever they were making the push down the hillside there. So 4 alive. We've got a duo that looks like they know exactly where one of them is. We've got Maverick that's on the outside and Teflon holding down back behind the rock. Circle has popped. Going to be right smack dab in the middle of this circle. So everybody's going to have to kind of be playing around trees, broken down cars. Not a lot to do here. 10 seconds going to start forcing some movements. Light Show seems to know exactly where one of them is. Teflon.
Light Show's got it made. He's in the. It's still in the circle. Teammates is probably going to rotate in.
Yeah, here comes the creep. Teflon starting to take a little bit of damage. Light Show has steps up and just tears him down. So Maverick's the last solo player up and alive. And I gotta say, I don't think Chris is gonna let this happen. Light Show just comes out, plays it, gets the kill. So Light Show and Chris come up with 3 kills there. 2 of them right at the end, but they are the 2 important ones to get themselves first place. And then throw some bullets back and forth at each other. Like, hey, good job, guys.
Congratulations. Maverick, yeah.
5 kills there. Great job with it. Teflon and Smeagol with that strong hold, only coming out with 2 kills is what I find interesting. They were caught in a lot of fights, really forcing